What is going on, everybody? We have about a minute left until we officially get started. So, as people start to pile into the waiting room here, then go ahead and say hello in the chat box, and we're going to kick this thing off in about 30 seconds.
What's up, everyone? Sean Hart here, back in good old Indiana for what, a day and a half now, Seth?
Yep.
Hey,
hopefully you're
Stas.
here to stay. What's up, Stas?
Good to see you, Stas. I just found out I'll be going to Amazon Accelerate this year for the first time, so that'll be fun. Everything's good over here, buddy. It's good to see your name.
All good. All good, Stas. Thanks for saying hey. Let's see here. All right, guys. So it's official.
Look at this.
We have Kafir ready to rock.
Guys. How are you doing?
Very well. How's it going, Kafir?
Very well. Very well. Thank you.
All right, so let's officially get this thing kicked off. Welcome officially to the monthly masterclass by Post Purchase Pro. We do these every single month to bring you the best experts, entrepreneurs, and strategies, hopefully, are from around our industry and others. You know, when it comes to making more money online and offline, that's what we're interested in because, you know, at the end of the day, it feeds our family and it's a lot of fun. But we're here mainly because of the best strategies for growth on and off of Amazon. I tell you guys this every month, but I'll remind you for the newcomers here, we have 2 to 5 guest speakers. We let each speaker speak for between 20 and 45 minutes, depending on Q&A. Usually the topics are going to center around creating more profits on Amazon or e-commerce, a wide variety of topics to do that, though, which makes it interesting. Sometimes an opportunity is really good that's kind of outside of the box, so we'll bring it to you as well. And that's kind of the point, is to get new ideas, new strategies in front of you. Important, we only do these because we want you to be more successful. You can rest assured that none of the people that ever speak or will speak on a masterclass are paying us to do so. They're not giving us commission to do so. We bring them to you because we think it's going to be valuable for you. If you're not in one of our WhatsApp groups, they do tend to fill up. You can join that here. You can go to joinprivategroup.com or scan that QR code. And about, a couple times a week, we'll drop something interesting in there for an Amazon seller. If you're wanting to grow, I'll give you a couple more seconds there. Shoot that QR code and jump in with us. And then before we get in too deep, guys, I know Stas said hello in the chat box, but I'd like to hear from the rest of you. Are we coming through loud and clear? How's audio? How's visual? And then where are you calling in from? That's always a lot of fun to say hello.
You took the words out of my mouth. I always like to see where people are coming from. So there we go. Audio is great, says Jane. Thank you. Switzerland, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Amish, Pennsylvania. Nice.
Hari Krishnan. That sounds like a reference from the Beatles. That's amazing. Switzerland.
Saratoga Springs, New York. There we go. Let's see.
Thank you, Michael.
Where's Stas from today? You never know where he's going to be calling in from. He could be from Maine to Spain or Austin to Boston.
Yep. All right, guys. So the agenda today, as more people are
Lafayette, Indiana. Nice.
Hey, that's
close to home. For dinner tonight. Adam and Sam from Paris, Costa Rica, Lafayette, Indiana. Heck yeah. I love California. Sweet. Looks like everything's working, Seth.
Good deal. All right, guys. Today's agenda is we're going to be talking about how to increase your sales on Amazon with external traffic. We're going to talk about how to use Amazon Analytics to identify why your business is growing or not growing, which is going to be interesting. We're going to talk about AI, how to use ChatGPT to make more money on Amazon and beyond. And then we're going to talk about like the data ecosystem for your Amazon business. Now, this is not in any particular order. We're going to keep you guys guessing. So if you're not into a topic, stick around for 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to be switching. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our first guest speaker, Mr. Kafir.
Love that introduction.
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
Kafir, we seem to
Thanks
be
for having me.
A couple times a week. I seem to be seeing your face. What's going on here?
Everything is good. Everything is well. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
Nice. Well, thank you for showing up. I know you have some amazing strategies to share with our community. So, Seth, I think we should just turn it over and stay on schedule.
Yep, absolutely. So Kafir, I went ahead and made screen sharing available for you, so you can go ahead and pull up any slides or anything like that you'd like to share. Guys,
Yeah.
Kafir is an amazing entrepreneur. We've known him for quite some time now. And every time that Sean and I are on the phone with him, we're always impressed by the way that he approaches business and the things he's able to get done. So really pay attention here, guys. He's going to be talking about external traffic and how important it is, and then also how to use it to drive more results in your business. Kafir, I'm really excited for this one. Take it away.
All right, guys. So thank you very much. Yeah, as you said, today we are going to speak about external traffic and the importance of it when you're selling on Amazon. Our main focus is actually, to increase the sales and see how can you do it. We have a lot of strategy that we've been doing along the years. We can tell you actually how many people are looking to buy your products outside of Amazon, which is amazing. People are always thinking about driving external traffic, but they don't know actually how many people are looking for them, for the items that they are selling. And that's one of the crucial things, because people don't understand the potential that there is out there. And also how to convert them into organic rank boost. When you're driving external traffic to Amazon, this is data from Amazon. As you see, 24 sellers that drive external traffic to their listing, to their store, can see up to 24.5% increase in sales. That's insane. So I will start with a short background of who we are and where we came from. We are three partners, me, myself, Yaniv, and Amir. I've been in the Amazon industry for over 10 years now. I'm a seller. I'm still a seller. I'm still selling on Amazon. And along the years, I've been driving intensive, a big amount of traffic to Amazon. And our main problem was that we couldn't track and monitor it, but I will speak about it later on. I'm also an owner of the A to Z digital online marketing agency, and I'm consulting to 7 to 8 figures Amazon sellers. Yaniv is also an Amazon seller for over 10 years, and he's done multiple exits on his Amazon businesses. As you can see, today we received our new t-shirts, and he took a selfie with the t-shirt. And this is one of the images, photos that he took. And Amir is our secret weapon. Amir is a data analyst and software developer. He's a very talented and gifted person with a lot of skills that actually help us to build the platform that we've been using today. So this is us. This is us. This is what we are doing. And let's continue. Okay. So why is external traffic so important to Amazon? Okay. Amazon is looking to bring as many traffic as they can into Amazon. As you can see on the image here, Amazon has like 2.49 billion visitors a month, okay? But the most important thing here is that on Google, you have 87 billion visitors a month. Now, if you can see, there is a very important data here. Like 60% of online sales are not happening on Amazon, okay? This is one of the most important data that you need to know, because everybody is running to Amazon. Amazon is great, and of course, you need to do your work on Amazon, but there is such a big potential outside of Amazon when you're bringing traffic from Google, when you're bringing traffic from social media and all the rest of the sources, and Amazon absolutely love it. They want as much traffic as they can on the website, and they will reward you for that, and we will speak about it later on. Okay. So why actually you should drive external traffic to Amazon? I mean, you're selling on Amazon, everything is good, but why should you do it? So the signals to Amazon, external traffic to your listing, tell Amazon that your product is bringing people to their marketplace, and Amazon absolutely love it. They want you to bring as many people as you can to Amazon. And Amazon will reward you when you bring in sales from external traffic. And this is the proof that Amazon absolutely love and encourage you to bring external traffic. They will give you brand referral fee bonus. You will get 10% brand referral bonus for each sale made with Amazon attribution link. And you have also the extra rank juice. When you're doing it, when sales come from external traffic, your ranking improve. And that's for sure. We've been checking it and we've been testing it many times, and we've done it for our clients, and we're doing it for our own businesses on Amazon, and we saw that it's increasing your organic rank significantly. And of course, you know, when you always want to get the edge over your competition. It's very important, and all the big sellers today already know it, to drive external traffic, because I think that 80% of the sellers, they are not there yet, and you always want to get the edge over your competition. And if you will do it, you will definitely improve your rank, and you will be able to sell much, much better than your competition. Any questions so far, by the way? Nothing. Okay.
Kafir, sorry about that. I was trying to get unmuted. So let me see here. One comment and two questions. Jessica says, "Hey there, Attribution Insights is 100% recommended." And then Elena says, "In the UK, we don't have brand referral bonus 10%. What do you suggest?"
Well, I think that like 2 months ago, something like that, they made it available also in the UK. So check it again. Someone told me that it's already available also in the UK and all around Europe. So you should check it again.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then the Amazon attribution revolution came. You know, you've been spending money, but you had no idea what happened next. Since 2016, myself and my partners and many people in the industry of Amazon that I know, been driving external traffic to Amazon, but they didn't know what's going on. You know, unless you had like an amazing campaign or something that really worked really well, you didn't know exactly what's going on. And then Amazon came with Amazon attribution, but it's lacking. The clicks and sales are there, but there is no spend. So if you're not measuring it, you're not managing it, and you're gonna give up. One of the main things that I saw with people that I've been working with, and also things that I saw with my partners that have been trying to drive external traffic, once you're not succeeding with something and you don't know, when you don't have the data, it's very difficult for you to continue. And sometimes, and not sometimes, many times, you're actually leaving a lot of money on the table because you don't have the data. So you must have the data, you must have the ability to track and monitor in order to be able to scale your campaigns. And that's really important. Now, this is a great example for something that one of my colleagues did. He did it on TikTok. He did it with influencers, okay? So yeah, he sent a few products to influencers, and like 2 months later, sales for this product exploded. I saw it in my own eyes. From 10 to 20 sales a day, he went to 200 and 300 units a day during a week. After a week, it was about 40 to 50 sales. But unfortunately, he didn't use any attribution link. And that was the main problem, because then he didn't know which influencer was the source of the sales. Did the sales happen on promotion day or later on? Or, you know, how many sales came directly from people who saw the promotion, and how many from organic rank? And how was the organic rank from all the sales? So it's impossible to know when as I said before, if you don't have the data, if you don't know how to track it, you're actually losing money. And just imagine that he had the ability to track and monitor it, and he knew exactly what's going on. I remember when I spoke with him, he told me, "You don't understand what's going on right now. I went from 10 to 20 items to 200, 300 units a day." And then I asked him, "Have you been using attribution links?" He said, "No, I didn't. I wasn't using attribution link." And here below you can see the numbers. You see, from here it went up and up and up and up and up and up and up. Okay, until he reached almost 26, 27K a day, and then it dropped. And that's it. But he cannot restore it because you don't know exactly what's going on. So what we did, we have all-in-one app for managing external traffic to Amazon with Amazon attribution. We made it so easy. We make it so easy for you. So you can see your ACOs in real time, and you can basically create campaigns from any source that you want to create a campaign to. If it's Google campaign, if it's a social media campaign, if you want to work with influencers. For influencers, we actually built a specific tool that you will be able to monitor their results when you are doing campaigns with influencers, and you also have the ability to add their associate tag, but that's a different thing. And then you will get all the data. You will get the CPC. You will know your ACOs, your TACOs, keyword ranking. Basically, you will get all the data that you need to know in order to be able to scale your campaigns and get real data and collect all that money that you're leaving on the table, basically. So basically, it's the one-stop shop that gives you all the tools, and it's very, very, very intuitive and very easy to use, because we did it actually for ourselves. You know, we are not tech guys, and we needed something that will be very intuitive and very easy to use, and we did it very, very easy. Okay. So where to go now? Do you want to see how many people are looking to buy your product outside of Amazon? If you will go to attributioninsights.com, you have a tool over there where you can put your data inside. You will put your ASIN and 3 keywords, and we will send you a report with all the data that you need to know for how many people are looking to buy your product outside of Amazon. If you will sign up today, you will get 10%. And of course, you can book a demo on our website, and we will be more than happy to answer any questions that you have and help you bring in that extra money that you're leaving on the table. That's about it, guys.
So Kafir, this is really good. So guys, I just dropped the link in the chat box there. It's attribution-insights.com. What I like about this, Kafir, is that you guys are essentially showing, how big the opportunity is for driving external traffic. It's like, you always wonder, what am I really missing out on? And you guys, put in the effort to show, how many sales you guys actually missing out on every day by not paying attention to this. Like, as an example, I was asking Jessica, who mentioned that she's using Attribution Insights, and I said, what are you using it for? And she said, we're running combined off Amazon traffic PPC campaigns and influencer campaigns, and it works great. So using external traffic is a great way to not only boost your sales, but also to boost your ranking. But then more importantly, it's like, how big an opportunity is this? Should you even be paying attention to this? And if I understand it, Kafir, you guys can show that for free, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we are showing it. We will show it once people will go to our website. There is an option there to fill up their information with their ASIN of the item that they would like us to create the report to. And then we will send the report within 24 hours with all the data. Okay.
And so, Kafir, I just pulled it up because I hadn't seen it. So if I go to attribution-insights.com, do I just click reveal your hidden revenue potential?
Yeah. That one. Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's easy, guys. Couple questions here for you, Kafir.
Yeah.
Andy said originally Amazon attribution in beta, but it's available in the UK. But then he came back with and said the links aren't working because it gives him an option to register. But then there's an issue getting signed up for the beta program in the UK. So I think you're right. I think that they're super close, and some people might be in there in the UK attribution, but some people can't get in quite yet. So obviously it's coming pretty quickly.
Yeah, it will be there. I mean, as far as I understood, and I spoke with the Amazon team also, and they told us that it will be available in around Europe very soon.
Okay. Chad says, how many ASINs does the monthly fee cover? I'm not really sure what he means there, Kafir.
As many as they want.
Okay, so it's unlimited?
Unlimited.
All right, a couple more questions. Jack says, Seth, why can't I see the other comments and questions in the chat? Jack, I don't know. Must be a Zoom setting or something. They're coming to me. Gaurav says, do we get brand referral bonus even when we run promotions from the promotions tab under advertising section? So do you want to talk about what you have to do to be able to get an attribution commission?
Sure. In order to be able to get that 10% referral fee bonus, you must drive the sales with attribution link that you create through our platform, which we are pulling it from Amazon through an API. And then once you're driving in the sales with that link, Amazon will identify it and you will get the 10% referral fee bonus.
Okay. Some people are asking a question here, so I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen to show.
Sure. Yeah.
1 second. I just wanted to show what is going on because they said that they don't see how to do that thing, Kafir, and we have a couple minutes, so I'm just going to share it.
All right.
All right. So guys, if you're on Attribution Insights, just hit this little button. Is this correct, Kafir?
Yeah, exactly.
So reveal your hidden keyword potential. This is what's free. So enter your ASIN and your keywords, and then they'll run that report for you. So easy enough, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's make sure we don't have any more questions. Okay. Jessica says, Kafir, please also detail the influencer campaigns because she says that's the coolest part. So I don't know who Jessica is, Kafir, but she's a super fan.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I know exactly what Jessica. Jessica has been working with us for quite a while, and
that's awesome.
Well, regarding the influencers, for influencers, we create something that I call a double dashboard, which means that we created two separate dashboards, one for the influencer and one for the seller / agency, whoever will use our platform. We did it because we wanted to increase trust and transparency between two sides. One of the main pains was that when we spoke with sellers or agencies, they told us that when they are working with influencers, there is a lack of transparency and lack of trust between two sides, and they don't know exactly what's going on. So actually right now, when you're running an influencer campaign, the influencer also, they will get also their own dashboard where they will see also all the data, and then you can communicate with them over the platform. And it's really cool and very easy, and it solves a lot of problems and headaches.
Perfect.
Beth, I have something I want to talk about real quick. If you have a couple of minutes for, I see my friend Lior is in here. It's
give me two minutes to wrap this up with Kafir, Sean. So Gaurav was saying that he sent email campaigns, drove a bunch of sales, but he's not seeing that referral bonus from those sales. Kafir, any insight to why that might be?
Well, sometimes there are some technical issues with attribution. When 95% of the time it's working very well, you will need to contact Amazon and then ask them what's going on. And it's something on their side, on Amazon side, and they will fix it. Usually they're fixing it, and they will help him. But there isn't something specific that I can point on and say, this is because you're not doing that or this, because it's not like that. If you are using a attribution link that you created on Amazon, on our platform, which is basically very similar, you should see the data and you should get the brand referral fee bonus.
Okay, great. So Gaurav, we'll help you figure that out, because I know some pages aren't able to be created into a workable attribution link. So it depends on.
Oh, right. Okay, that might be the reason. Yeah. Completely.
Yeah. And then Jessica says it's not actually Jessica, it's Gus using Jessica's account. So that's funny. All right, guys. So I think this should be good. We answered all the questions. Kafir, I really appreciate your segment, man. I'm going to let Sean give a little quick talk before Lior jumps in.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Kafir.
Right. So you have the screen share taken care of there, right? All right. So just a quick poll here, guys. I see normally we have a couple hundred sellers in here, but there were about 100 of you. I want to know personally, how many of you are planning on attending Amazon Accelerate in Seattle in September 12th through 15th, something like that. If you are attending Amazon Accelerate in Seattle, I was on the other screen here talking to my friend Mina Elias. Mina and our other mutual colleague Isabella from Ritz Momentum, they're hosting an after party on September 13th. I have a limited amount of free tickets that are only available for sellers. If you're a service provider, you cannot get a free ticket. It'll cost you $250. But if you're going to Accelerate in September, about what is that? About 48 days away, I can get you in for free. If you're interested, just let me know in the chat box and I'll send you the link. I don't want to post this out in the public because these limited free seats are, the free seats are very limited, I should say. So if you're going to Seattle and you want to hang out with some cool people on the 13th and meet some other sellers, free drinks, free food, entertainment, then let me know in the chat box and I'll fix you up. Hey guys, good to see you again. Lior, where's your sidekick?
I'm going to be by myself today.
You're flying solo today?
Flying solo.
Right.
I'm well trained.
We're gonna hide Kafir's handsome face, and we're gonna bring you front and center here. Long time no talk. I know you're working on some pretty cool stuff. So looking forward to hearing what you have to share today.
Okay, perfect. Let me get my screen ready.
I'll be hanging out in the background.
Lior, I'm super excited to have you, man. When you kind of updated us a few months ago on what you were building, I was excited to share with our audience because it's right in the wheelhouse of every entrepreneur. So we met Lior several months ago now at this amazing event for entrepreneurs, all kinds of high-end people there that think big. And Lior was one of the great people that came out of that conference for us. So Lior, we're really excited to have you share what you've been working on that can help entrepreneurs, which, we're working with a lot of e-commerce and Amazon entrepreneurs ourselves. So love to have you share, my friend. I'm going to hang out in the background. If any questions pop up, I'll let you know. Okay.
Awesome. Perfect. And let me know if everybody can see my screen.
I see your screen.
Looking good.
Perfect. So this is going to be a bit of a different talk, and I hope it's a topic that people like to hear about and like to engage with. First of all, just about me, I'm a tech-focused entrepreneur. I've built and sold multiple companies. Like Fear, I am from Israel in origin, but I live in the States now. I'm a part CTO, part CMO. I've run hundreds of millions of unique traffic, and for many, many years I was a super affiliate. I used to buy mortgage clicks when it was 50 cents and advertise on DoubleClick before Google bought them, just to date myself there. I've been in computer vision, machine learning, algorithm development since the mid-2000s. I have 2 patents in the space of machine learning and AI. And right now, I just love helping companies integrate AI into their daily workflow so they can gain leverage and kind of, I say, leave work early. My main business is actually joint ventures. So I do joint ventures with 7- and 9-figure entrepreneurs or companies to solve 5- and 6-figure problems. So I hope maybe one of you guys get to be partnered with in the future. So this talk is about AI models and methods, how to use AI and do less busy work and make more money. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be a 30-minute flashbang of all the stuff you could do with ChatGPT. We'll do a live demo because it's a cool product and everybody should see it and see how people like me use it. But you can go to YouTube and TikTok and see all of that. What I really want to instill for you today is how to think about ChatGPT, how to think about AI, what's fluff, what's useful, what's relevant, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll go ahead and start implementing if you hadn't already. So we'll start with some definitions. I like to baseline everybody. So ChatGPT, it stands for chat, dialogue, you and I are conversating. Generative, which means generate, it creates. Pre-trained, which means it's an algorithm that's based on pre-trained data, pre-trained corpus of information. And transformer, which without getting too technical, you can think about it as something that transforms, changes, takes X and turns it into Y. Specifically, the thing that everybody is very excited about and very transformational from a product perspective is ChatGPT, which is a generative large language models. If you hadn't heard about LLMs yet, you're going to hear a lot about them. There are multiple competitors now in the space. And that's the big category that everybody's excited about. AI has been around for many, many, many years, but this is a new unlock for the industry. It launched November 30th by OpenAI, which is the company. That's important to note as well. Gained about 1 million users in 5 days, more than 100 million in 2 months. And a lot of people are calling it the new iPhone moment. Really, it's the last time this piece of technology launched that everybody loves for different reasons, right? It's not a one-trick pony. So a bit of a mental model for you. Everything in large language models and in ChatGPT starts with a prompt. A lot of people conflate prompts and they think about like a Google search or queries or question, but really it's a before. What large language models do, they take a piece of text that you put in, they put it inside the neural network, inside the transformer, and you get an output, you get a response. Now, what it really does is trying to guess the next word. That's really the base layer of the technology. What does that mean? If I said Old MacDonald had a, hopefully everybody's thinking about farm and not ship, because probabilistically, statistically, that's the right word that somebody would expect to see. That's what the computer's trying to do. It's trying to appease you. It's trying to make sure that it gives you the response that you want, it being farm. ChatGPT and these large language models were pre-trained on a very large web index. You think about Wikipedia, general knowledge, Stack Overflow, many specialized databases as well. And it was trained by human feedback. Now, this is important to know because some LLMs are not and will not. Now, what does human feedback mean? So if you think about this before and after thing, what AI does and what large language models do, they scrape the internet, and by reading lines like Old MacDonald had a farm, they basically understand, oh, every time I see those words, I have a sense of what's the likely word that needs to happen. So if you scan a lot of information across the internet, you have a sense of statistics, of probability. But then you want to make sure that you have a good model. So they use humans to figure that out. So they put up a prompt like this. What will happen if I put a cheese on a hot stove? And they present 2 different options. One option, it'll turn into ice, and maybe it gets 1 vote. And the other option is it'll melt until eventually it'll burn if the stove is hot enough, and that gets more votes. So that tells the large language models, the neural network, I probably need answer B. But this is probable. It's not determined, meaning it's most likely going to do answer B. And here's why. The first answer, it'll turn into ice, is not necessarily wrong. If this was inside the Harry Potter universe, maybe in the Harry Potter universe, with that context, if you put a cheese On a hot stove, it does turn into ice, right? So, and we'll talk about the difference between fact and fiction and everything else in that world. Now, a comment about ChatGPT versus search engines. And by the way, please put in questions in the chat. We'll cover them both at the end, and in a minute we'll do a live thing. So I'd love to hear some ideas and questions we can cover. ChatGPT versus search engines. Search engines, Google, are limited by their index. What they had done for the past couple of decades is really develop a very efficient crawling and indexing mechanism, meaning they crawl, they find a web page, they read it, and then they index it. They say, okay, every time somebody searches for the word shoe, then I have a sense of what are the pages that have the word shoe on it. And as you add words, it has a better sense of what pages it should even consider. And then it has a ranking algorithm. We try to figure out, okay, based on the user and who they are and what the words they use, what page is most likely the page you want to see. Now, even if it crawls 1 billion pages a minute, it doesn't really matter because it's limited by content that people have created. Now, what's most likely going to happen, and we're already seeing it, and all of you in e-commerce that it's been there, kind of like fear for many years, you know that there's this trend where search engines become answer engines. And now that's most likely going to be the primary user experience in just a few short years, which means if, 12 years ago, if you search for running shoes, you were giving an index, some kind of a search result page set, and number one was probably Amazon or Nike.com, whatever it is, and people compete on those rankings with better search signals. But now, if you search for running shoes, you're already getting listing ads. You're getting product listing ads, right? With the actual picture and the price and maybe inventory and whatever it is, availability. But imagine that's going to happen, and that you see the same for weather or travel and so on and so forth. Imagine that's going to happen for everything you search for. And the thing is, generative AI creates on the fly. It's not limited by an index. It doesn't matter if Google can crawl 1 billion pages a minute, because these sets of technologies, and Google has their own product in this, can create content on the fly, tailored to the context and the language and everything the user that's searching needs at that point in time. Now, with that, let's play. I'd love to, by the way, do you guys have like the survey function or poll function?
Well, we have polls, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess you can create a poll, Lior. We do have a question though. Somebody asked, how good would Chat GPT be in developing, like, for instance, fantasy content? Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, fantasy meaning fiction, or like
I think so. Yeah.
Football. Okay. It would actually be terrific for that. And let me open my browser here so I can share my screen, and we'll do that. And in the meanwhile, because I'm going to share my screen, I'm not going to see the chat. If anybody has a prompt or a question like this that they want to see, please share it now. Give me a couple and we'll do it live. What I like to, this is a live product demo. Now, luckily for me, this is a product that has hundreds of millions of dollars behind it. So it's probably going to be a good demo, but it is a live demo. So hopefully everything is going to be okay.
Hey, just Lior, if you have a document you can share, I can create that poll for you if you just drop the document or email.
Oh, I just wanted to know how many people have used, ChatGPT.
Oh, okay. I'll set that up.
Just do that. Yes, fiction score. Golda Zam. Perfect. Okay, let's start. First of all, the product, because some people don't know, the web address is chat.openai.com. This is the only ChatGPT. Anything else, any ad you see is not this product, it's something else. Maybe it uses the API, maybe it's some copycat and so on and so forth. By default, if you use the free, you get GPT 3.5. That's the model that created the whole, hoo-ha a few months ago. GPT-4, though, is in order of magnitude better in terms of reasoning. Now, this is actually an important note. ChatGPT and large language models, they are not fact machines. They are reasoning machines. That's why actually relying on them for facts is not a great idea. So fantasy content is actually a great prompt, a great category. But just so the purpose again for this chat is this talk, give you the baseline on how to think about this, give you an idea on the best practices. Now, the best practice by and large is to think about ChatGPT and this category and talk to it as if you talk to a person. So right now I can say, hey, I'm giving a 30-minute talk to what, 100-ish. And look, I'm using I'm using natural language on purpose. Okay, I want you to see that you can use it like this. It's going to figure this out. 100-ish Amazon sellers, and I want to give them some examples on how, on types of activities they can use ChatGPT for to improve their business. And I'm going to make it this generic, this high level. I didn't tell him how many, I didn't give quantity, I didn't give direction, didn't give anything. I'm like, I'm giving a talk right now, 100 Amazon seller, I want to give them some examples. So let's see what it says. That sounds like a great opportunity. So it's kind of honed to have conversational style responses. Customer service automation. One of the most immediate uses of ChatGPT is to automate customer service. Chatbot can answer frequently asked questions, provide product details. Great. Content creation, used to generate high quality content for product description, ad copy, blog posts, social media posts. Notice I said Amazon sellers, so it understands the context. Oh, product description, ad copy, social media posts, product recommendations, market research, training material, email automation, inventory management, translation. This is actually a great point. If anybody here happens to sell or wants to start selling on the other Amazon stores or in international languages, ChatGPT right now has the best, by and large, translation engine right now, and it's effectively free. Okay, so I can actually use this right now in Spanish or even Hebrew or Portuguese or French. It would be great. I don't want to waste your time with this, but any of you other bilingual or more polyglots, go to it, translate your product descriptions, translate your landing pages, your emails. It's amazing and highly recommended. So let's take a look at one of these things. So first of all, you see that it created an order and it created highlights. And order, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And highlights, it actually created a heading. Now some tricks, well, let's dive into one of these things. Content creation. Can you give me a content creation strategy? You know what, I'll just even do, can you elaborate on number 2? Just say that. And give me a plan for 30 days for an e-commerce business selling, I don't know, multicolored pots and pans. Okay, and again, this is very high level. And I'm treating it like a person. I'm not trying to, surgically think what's the best prompt and all the details. I want to start. As soon as I start, then I can edit. Now I see, oh, week 1. Okay, great. I didn't even ask for that format. Week 1, day 1 and 2, identify type of content. Start using to generate initial drafts of some of these content pieces. Day 5 and 6, okay, publish the generated description on your website, track engagement metrics, maybe sign up with attribution insights. Start scaling up content production. Okay, okay, great. Let's take one of these things. First of all, can you organize week 1 for me in a table? This is another thing large language models know how to do very well. Because they process text, and text has context and has form and has style, we can ask it to make it comfortable and easy for you to digest in however you want. So I'm going to push that forward. I'm going to let it finish generating. And excuse the misspellings, and it'll also excuse the misspelling. So it automatically thought about the headings, about the format. I'm like, okay, this is great. Now I want to tell it, hey, can you suggest 30, let's not do 30 just for the sake of time, 5 TikTok ideas for this, pots and pans business. Now I said TikTok, so now it understands other things. And so in a video, it understands titles, and understands context of length. Okay, color matching challenge, unboxing videos, cooking demos. Okay, care maintenance tip. That's a great idea. Can you give me, 5 specific video ideas for color matching challenge, and write the script for the first idea. Now you see how I'm using it. I started off with something. I started off with this high level thing, give me ideas. And then it gives me a list. Once it gives me a list, it's much easier for me as a professional to start engaging and elaborating and asking for more things. 5 specific ideas. So it gives me match your breakfast, pan of specific color in their prepared breakfast that matches it. That's a cool idea. Yellow pan, you can make scrambled eggs or lemon pancakes. Think of how much context it got here, right? From the e-commerce to the fact that it's a pan to its breakfast and it's a yellow pan and scrambled eggs are yellow and lemon pancakes are yellow, right? There's a lot of things going on here in the background. Smoothie rainbow, seasonal shades, holiday themes, dress code, great idea. And now I ask for the script. So tell me, scene. The scene is filled with yellow pan from your collection. Narrator, welcome to our color matching challenge. Today we're seeing live through yellow colored glasses. And it gives me not only the framing, but the script as well. And then I can say, can you make the script funnier or Mr. B style? Because it understands style, it understands funny. And now it's going to change the text, right? So now I only asked it about the script. I didn't even look at the other ideas. So now it's saying, okay, hello, color warriors. That's a very Mr. Beast opening. Today, we're kicking off our epic color matching challenge with, you guessed it, yellow. Okay, very different tone. Now, in matching it to your tone, your style, if you already have videos, if you have product descriptions, if you have blog posts or emails or landing pages, you can literally just copy it. Don't worry about the format. Don't worry about it. Just paste it in and say, can you make this better? Can you make this snappier? Can you make it more Chris Voss persuasive? Can you make it Dan Kennedy persuasive? You know, whatever it is that you follow, it can work really well. I highly recommend. Now, the answers that you see here are very high quality because of GPT-4. GPT-3.5 would not have given you the same level of quality. Now, I'm going to stop here just so you know, you saw a very high level very quick. I hope you got a sense that this is extremely powerful, and best $20 I think you can pay in a month. I am not an affiliate. I don't get any commission from this. I just highly recommend you spend the money. Meanwhile, if you have any questions on this, just kind of push them in the chat and I'll answer as I go through the other slides. Oh, I got the poll. Nice. Okay. Everybody see my slides again?
All good, Lior. Sounds good. A couple questions here. Andy was asking the difference between the paid and the free. I think you touched on it, but I highly recommend, the $20 paid version because it is so much better. But any additional thoughts? Yeah,
100%. So paid not only gives you one of the things I haven't done because it's a product I can never probably 2 hours straight. You get GPT-4, a much better model. You also get the other bigger sets of functionalities. You get all their plugins, which right now there's almost 1,000. And you get Code Interpreter. Code Interpreter is revolutionary. Now, I don't have a sample report, but if you get like an export CSV report of any of the Amazon Seller Central reports, you can upload it raw and you can ask it questions like a data scientist. It's ridiculous. You can upload PDFs, huge batches of information. You can ask it to plot on graphs. You can ask for, again, data insights. You can ask it to reorganize, change, augment data. All of these tools you get on the Plus version, right? It's built into the $20. So I really, big difference between the free and the paid, big difference. And generally any other beta features you can say. Any other chat we want to cover before? Can you generate images with ChatGPT? No, not with ChatGPT as a product. OpenAI has another one called DALL-E. But to be honest, the best right now image generator that I recommend is called Midjourney, MID Journey. It's phenomenal. You can use ChatGPT to create prompts for Midjourney. So you can go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to generate, product image, or I want to generate a scene for Midjourney, and it's going to create the right kind of formatted template that you can paste into Midjourney and get incredible results. So ChatGPT is not an image generator yet, although the company does have one. Maybe they'll conflate the products. And with Midjourney, can you insert your own products? No, it's not really built for that, but there are other products now that you can. But if I actually have one, somebody just sent me that, so I'm gonna. Okay, I'll run through some slides. Somebody just sent me something specifically for product photos for e-commerce, and I'll get that to you by the end of this talk. Okay, so how to think about AI. So these are the mental models that I love to teach and talk about. Starting with, you won't be replaced by AI, but you will be replaced by people using AI. Very, very important. And what does that mean? Tasks that involve routine or predictable processing of information, like, go to this document and get all the details from column A, put in column B, get it from column C, and so on. Those kind of tasks, I mean, you saw, will be completely automated. There's no reasons for humans to spend time on that type of task, right? Which I'm sure a lot of you maybe use VAs for those kind of things right now. But any tasks that require creativity or synthesis of information will be enhanced, right? I can upload a PDF, for example, and I say, create an outline for a 20-minute talk. Or you just saw, I could have probably built this entire talk in probably 30 minutes of my human work, along with ChatGPT as kind of as a buddy, as a writing buddy. Just by saying, I want to give a 30-minute talk on ChatGPT for about AI. What should I cover? How should I cover it? So you need a human to kind of navigate the responses and tweak it and polish it. But ChatGPT does all the heavy lifting, just like you would have some expert copywriter or researcher or whatever expert in the room, and they can do your bidding, but ChatGPT is there 24/7, answers in a minute. And if you wanted to write a whole book for you, it can. Because the cost right now, it comes down to something like 2 cents for 10,000 words, right? You can write basically a book for a dime. It's ridiculous. The next big mental model you guys need to know and learn is prompt engineering. If you hadn't heard about it yet, it basically refers to what we're doing right now. We're trying to think, what do we put into ChatGPT to get the output, the best output that we want? The best way I can tell you, and this talk is about simplification, right? It's not about overcomplicating things. Be clear, just like anything. If you talk to an expert and you say, hey, give me 30 product ideas or 30 TikTok scripts, they would be like, okay, for what? What's the product? What's the audience? So if you're clear about what you want, and if you're detailed about the end result, you'll get really good output. You can ask it, format the responses for use. Do you need it in a table? Is it an email? If it's an email, it's going to have a subject and a dear sir, whatever it is, and it's going to have a signature. If it goes to TikTok, you need a script. If it goes to Amazon product listing, it has its own format, as you guys very well know. You can use style as an option, but be very mindful about creative versus factual. It's not a fact machine. It's not Google. You cannot treat the responses from ChatGPT, the stuff that look like facts, as facts. It's actually, it doesn't know, and I'll cover that in a bit. That said, and you will get these slides, by the way. You don't have to take screenshots if you don't want to. And I put this slide as a screenshot slide. 22 different items to make your prompts better, right? So you could use something like tone or context or specific keywords, give it examples to copy. So if you have competitor stuff, you can say, hey, these are my competitor listings. These are my listings. How can I make those better? Or find me all the gaps, find me opportunities for ranking that they're not considering, and so on. You can use different terminologies, visual elements to describe for you, different calls to action, if it's marketing copy or sales copy, and so on. A lot of things you can do to make prompts better. Now, if you're stuck, help ChatGPT help you, just like you saw when I started. This is called a master prompt. You'll see a lot of these coming up, and a lot of good ones. This is one that I like it simple. I kind of tell, hey, you're a prompt generation robot. Start a chat that tell you you're a prompt generation robot. You need to gather information about the user's goals, objective, examples of the preferred output, and so on and so forth. Once you paste this into ChatGPT, it's going to ask you, okay, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, Amazon product descriptions. Or I want to do a Facebook funnel, like Fear said. I want to do external traffic to my Amazon listing. What should I do? And then it's going to say, okay, great. And then it's going to give you guided questions that as you give them the response, it'll give you the prompt to put into ChatGPT itself. So if you have a writer's block, just use that. Now, another important mental model is human-in-the-loop automation. A lot of people look at AI and technology in general every time something like this comes up. They think, oh, Skynet, bots are taking over. You see clippings from the 1800s saying the same thing. Robots are taking over. Humans are not going to do anything. But really, every time great technology came in, the real leverage was created by semi-automation. So taking something and having humans use it, rather than thinking about it as full automation. So think about it like a co-pilot, cognitive Robocop, which is probably dating myself. So maybe like an Iron Man suit for whatever task you're working on. And think about AI in that context. So something you do that takes time, or something your employees or your contractors do that take time, how can you compress it? Because if you can compress a 10-minute task to 2 minutes, but that task happens 50 times a week, that's a lot of time. So that's 400 minutes saved. Many hours of productivity that you can put somewhere else. My favorite use of ChatGPT is eliminating start fixing. I say it's the ultimate cure for writer's block. You know, nobody has a talker's block, right? We have a writer's block, especially with the phones that everybody can just talk into the phone. It's amazing how you can just start. So I say it's a great kindler for the creative process. For me, I don't know about you guys. I've been writing copy for many years, but still, every time my team asks me to write something, I'm deer in the headlights. I take my coffee and I just sit down. Editing is easier than creating for me. If I get a draft, boom, I can be extremely productive, Johnny on the spot with insights. And that's what ChatGPT and those tools allow you to do. It's kind of like a creative partner that's always on. You write something, it completes your thought. So if you have something very elaborate, great. If not, if you're just like, I need new marketing copy, and it's going to be like, okay, for what? And you're going to tell an email like, okay, what's your business? So as soon as there's somebody on the other end, you're engaging and you're in this kind of snowball of productivity. And whatever it is, you rinse and repeat until you get the right results, because you have an expert in a variety of topics for basically no cost. And this is the next big mental model. You have an AI team. That's the best way to think about it. You have access to experts in any topic that it can do mundane work and busy work, writing and filtering and sorting. And with Code Interpreter, by the way, you can actually have create PDFs, create Word documents, read PDFs, read Word documents, read Excel spreadsheets, and so on. And there's zero marginal cost of expertise. So if right now you wanted to hire an expert copywriter, Dan Kennedy trained, it'll cost you a pretty penny just to get the consulting call. But right now you can at least have somebody that's automatic. And I would, with a big caveat, exceptional humans are always going to be exceptional humans. Exceptional sword makers are still exceptional sword makers, right? So it's not like you get that, the best quality in the world, but you get, excellent quality across pretty much most professions. Now, what AI can do, very important to understand, because it's based on trained data, and what it's trying to do is really figure out what's the next best word. If it's not trained on data, you can't ask it for stuff like, why is my Amazon sales plummeting? It doesn't know your industry. It doesn't know your particular sales, right? It has no volition, meaning it can't make decisions for you. It has no morals. It doesn't have a concept of right or wrong. It cannot have a concept of right or wrong. And more importantly, for productivity, for business, it doesn't have a standard of truth. It doesn't know from truth to false, and it actually makes stuff up. So back to the first question about fantasy, it's perfect for fantasy. When it makes stuff up, professionally, we call it hallucinations. Literally, the model hallucinates and creates content out of thin air. But you don't know that it's true. Now, there's also a tendency to use computer software and think, oh, it's a computer, it's probably computing. But large language models are actually very bad at numbers. They need extensions or plugins to do that because they're a probabilistic language engine, right? They don't know how to calculate. So they need another plugin or extension to calculate. So I say, let AI do what humans don't want to do. And, Four Seasons, one of my favorite brands, their founder really propagated systemize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional, which I think is the best way to think about this entire category. Now, final note on how to implement it. And I know, Sean, I have like 3 minutes left, and I think we're going to be fine on it. So here's best practices. I've worked with a couple dozen organizations now, some of them small as like 6 people, some of them as large as 1,200. And this is really the best practice that I distilled from everybody. Starts with an all hands active training session, kind of like this is a 30-minute talk. So it doesn't need to be long, but you need to be in a position where everybody in the company, doesn't matter if they're a VA or a chief marketing officer or CTO, they need to be in the workshop. So nobody can say, I don't know, I haven't seen ChatGPT, I don't know what to do with it. Do a 2-week follow-up meeting after that with examples where everybody shares in the Zoom how they used it, and do another one 2 weeks after that with examples and reports on usefulness. You can say, oh yeah, actually, that's how I respond to customer service tickets. I have a very, I have an entrepreneur that I've been mentoring for years, and she's very crass. And I told her, start filtering your emails and communication through ChatGPT. Say what you want to say it raw, but say, I need to send this to investors. I need to send it to my employees. And she's gotten amazing feedback within like 4 weeks of people saying, wow, her communication improved so much. So same for you. If you want to streamline or get a certain tone for your customer service engine, think about the prompt to put in ChatGPT for them to use when they put in the email with the response, and see how it transforms it. I highly recommend designated a company or a team, if you're a big organization, AI champion, which really what they need to do is curate company-specific prompts for you, if you're using Slack or Teams or Monday, whatever it is, and basically asking when people do stuff, they ask, did you use ChatGPT for it? How did you use it? Give some examples. We force in my companies, every time somebody thinks about a practical new way, we make them do a Zoom or a Loom for the team about it, just 10 minutes. Now, 3 useful spotlights. I like to ask, if you had a 10x activity could be emails, revenue, clients, traffic, whatever it is, where would you feel you would break at the seams? Where somebody would say, I need to hire more people, I'm not gonna, sleep on the weekends and so on. That means they identified something analog, something humans take time to do, and that's an area you should investigate and scrutinize. If you have any SOPs, standard operating procedures, that's a huge clue for routines, and we said routines can be automated. By the way, I highly recommend use ChatGPT to create SOPs, create training manuals, create training, even programs, courses. It's perfect for that. It can do the whole thing. And lastly, client emails or any emails, really. Any email that you get is a prompt. Somebody's prompting your organic intelligence. And any response that you send out is a response. So those immediately give you a lot of pairings of prompt responses and stuff you should look at. Maybe it's worth automating as a whole. So with that, I say it's not the end of work, like everybody says, but it is the end of boring work if you use it right. So I know we're probably right on the minute.
Yeah, you're fine.
But if anybody has any questions, I'd love to cover it.
Mind blowing as usual, Lior, and you can see like 80-something% of the people have been playing with AI the last couple months. So good audience for this. Seth?
Yes. Let's see here. So Jessica says, how would you use ChatGPT to improve Amazon product listings so they rank better in their own niches inside the site? So Lior, I know you're not in the trenches of Amazon that I know of, but that would be a question to ask ChatGPT, right?
Great. I do. I still have a performance agency, and we have a few Amazon clients.
Okay.
So we use something there, and it's actually a pretty competitive category. So what we did, and we have like 2 big products that are huge. They have like 5,000 reviews, and our product has like 100 or 200. So what we did, we actually took the listings, all of their listings, and pasted it into ChatGPT and asked, first of all, what's the difference between them and us, and what are they doing better that we're not? Then we went to other products in the category, not just like the specific product we're competing with, but the category, it's like an automotive category, went to the best sellers, and we pasted the same. We're like, take all of these, give us the best practices and improve our listing, give us ideas and give us text. And within a 30-minute session of back and forth like that, it's been amazing. And we got a huge lift after just doing that. So we use it to analyze and we use it to write for that.
Solid feedback. Catherine says, if you tell it to rewrite your bullet points in a funny way, will it keep all of your keywords? Any insight?
Question. You can tell it. Rewrite the product description and keep all the main keywords. And you can tell it, keep those keywords if you already know the list.
Great. We have Oscar says, great value. Hope says, can you put in a simple info and ask it to give you back an HTML format?
Yes, you can. It's actually, you can actually go all the way to build entire websites, landing pages. You can have it even ask it to teach you how to code. It's really amazing. And I highly recommend, by the way, if you get stuck with like something that looks very technical, like some JavaScript thing you want to install or attribution insights, you're not sure how to do the configuration, use that and it'll actually guide you. You say, guide me like I'm 5, right? Explain like I'm 5. And it'll break it down very simple for you.
Golda says, can you introduce a good source on how to use ChatGPT for writing books, and which one is better, ChatGPT or Jasper?
Good question. So first of all, I don't know of a particular source for books because there's a lot of products getting developed right now in that space, and nonfiction is very different than fiction, and guides and all that. But the note about Jasper. So Jasper, if anybody here doesn't know, Jasper AI, really great product for marketing, digital marketers, and all the activities around that. Jasper actually uses ChatGPT's API. So it uses the OpenAI API. So you get the same thing, but what Jasper had done, they created a workflow, right? If you create a Facebook ad, it's not just thinking about the ad and make sure it's the right, length and formats and all that. You need to publish it to Facebook ads. So Jasper solved that for all of their particular use cases. So from a quality standpoint, ChatGPT is actually supposed to give you basically the same thing as Jasper because it's literally the same engine. But Jasper is better for the workflow because it saves you a lot of these bookends of productivity where you need to open different tabs and do different things. But from a pure content lens, it's basically the same quality because it's the same engine.
Amazing. You're getting tons of love in the chat box, Lior. So obviously this is super valuable. So if you don't mind, hang out for a few more minutes, and then if somebody asks a question, you can jump into the chat box. Any place people should go to find more about you, Lior, before you jump out of here?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'll do 10 seconds. One of my products now that we would love to get design partners. So e-commerce sellers, we'd love to talk to you. It's a product called Pulse. Connect your business systems. We send you text messages, Slack messages, Teams messages with the numbers you care about the most. And we just finished our Amazon integration, which works. So you can get, text message every day with your sales and inventory, whatever you want. PP Pro, 30% off forever, but we'd love feedback. It's 2-week free trial anyway. Don't have to put a credit card. Please try it. But for me, I'd love to talk to you. Here's literally, and Seth and Sean can attest, this is my email. This is my phone number. This is my Calendly. This is not like a company thing. This is not a company. Email me.
Very accessible. Very accessible.
100%. I've done this many times. And unfortunately, I only get a handful of people that actually take me up on it. But please contact me, ask me questions.
Isn't it strange, Lior, how many people are not willing to pick up the phone and call?
It's so weird. It's amazing.
Seth and I, just to reiterate, Seth and I do not get rewarded in any way financially, right? We don't accept any affiliate commissions. We only brought Lior on here because we know he has some amazing content. Lior, we're going to have to get over to our next speaker. Guys, screenshot that. Okay. Hopefully you got that in there.
I just dropped the link into the chat box.
Seth, I have something super fun. Okay. So, we are sponsoring the event after Accelerate in Seattle. So if you guys are going to be in Seattle in September, a lot of you have joined the call since we started here. If you're planning on going to Seattle September 12th, 13th, 14th for Amazon Accelerate, join Seth and I at the party on the 13th. I just posted, there were way too many people were asking for the code, Seth. Sellers are invited, absolutely free of charge. If you're going to be there, you can attend the party, food, drinks, entertainment, games, prizes. And guess what, Seth? I'm going to choose one random winner to win this limited edition official Sean Hart bobblehead. What do you think, buddy?
That doesn't look like you.
Oh, that must be you then with the V-neck.
You need to get a hat on that guy.
Oh, yeah, I do. You're right.
That's funny.
So what the heck? My camera went crazy now. All right. Who's the next guest here?
All right. We have Demian, Mr. Demian. I'm so excited to have you, man. I think we flip-flopped you and Lior, but I'm glad you were able to stick around because I'm stoked for your topic today, my friend.
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Coming through great.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Hey, post-purchase team, Seth, Sean, attendees. So yeah, I'm going to talk today about a pretty interesting topic that is fully only about analytics because this is my background. So my name is Demian. I'm co-founder at My Real Profit. We are a data analytics company for Amazon sellers. So basically, I specialize in analytics. And my background is 7 years, even though I look pretty young. In e-commerce, and I was working with Amazon sellers, Amazon businesses, I would say, who make like more than $1 million a month to build them analytics and finances. So today I'm going to share with you how to use Amazon Analytics to identify where your business is growing or falling. So let me share the presentation. And I think it should work. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got you. Go ahead, Demian.
Okay, so how to use Amazon Analytics to identify where your business is growing and falling. So what I'm going to talk to you about, how can you, you have millions of data available on Amazon. Yeah, but how can you utilize available tools, how you can do some sort of visualizations and other things in order to get some sort of insights from this data that you can use Excel, wherever, to build really good analytics on your own. And we're going to start with very simple thing, which is the process of analyzing the data. So the thing that you just started selling, you don't have any data, you're going to test. Yeah, then you get your first results, you make adjustments based on these results, and then you wait. Then you get another results. You're analyzing the results of adjustments made, and you go to your second results. And this is like a flywheel. You always do the same. You analyze your data and then do adjustments and wait for the results. So basically, what does it mean? That the way how you analyze the data actually can make your business growing or falling. Yeah, this is really, really important. So how you can be better in this, because like there are, as I mentioned, there are thousands of reports that you can download, but where you should focus at. So let's go through must-have in Amazon data analysis. And this is on my opinion. When I worked with companies, this is where we were always implementing in terms of data analysis for Amazon. The first one is trends, comparing periods, dynamics, plus plan. So by trends, comparing periods and dynamics, I mean, if you made $30,000 in sales last month, it tells you not enough information. Yeah, what happened last year, what happened last month. Always have a dynamics, always check your trends in order to understand if this number is great or if this number is bad. Then plan means if you have a plan, you can identify the success of the historical data and also today's data. Let me explain this better. So with you have a strategy. For example, not making more sales but making more profit, or not focusing on the competition but make more profit but with low traction. All that is happening can be planned. So if you look at the last year data, yeah, you can. If you look at the last year data, you can. Sorry, I have a problem. Oh yeah, now it's better. So if you look at the last year for your plan, it can be like last year we did $30,000 less in sales. But then if you had a year like your historical plans, you will understand, okay, this was actually because we were not focusing on the competition. So having a plan always provides you with a better understanding where you're staying at. If it's better situation or it's worse situation, doesn't matter at the not taking into account the absolute number. Then data visualization, color formatting charts. We people love see colors. We don't like we like numbers, but it's very difficult if you have like a data set, just looking at each number and trying to figure out if it's making any sense or not. Data visualization, I mean, make red what is bad, green what is good. Yeah, you will easily identify where you should focus in terms of all metrics. It makes life so much easier. Combination of different reports together, of course, for Amazon, this is a must-have. It's you have on Amazon, you have everything separate. Yeah, you have traffic and sales, you have separately finances, all the refunds, you have PPC. So it's everything is separated with the KPIs. So in different categories, different businesses have their own KPIs. What I mean by that is, let's say you sell supplements. For supplements, one of your main KPIs is going to be customer lifetime value. Yeah. How many, let's say in units, yeah, how many units your customer buy for a specific time period. If it's like up to 3 units, it completely changes your strategy. Yeah, your ACOS can be 150% and you still will be profitable because people are buying 3 products. Yeah, if you are selling in apparel, like clothes, most likely one of your main KPIs is going to be the refund rate. Yeah, if our refund rate is better than average market refund rate or it's worse, you need to focus on content and so on. So having a KPIs that identify your business success can help you understand your business success. And of course, accuracy. Yeah, this is the most important part for Amazon Analytics. And let me provide you with some examples. Trends, comparing periods, and dynamics. Yeah, so what I mean by data visualization and colors is that if you use green colors for what is great, if you use red colors, what is bad, you can easily understand. Yeah, having this chart, we can see, okay, total sales getting better, advertising sales getting worse. But in reality, this is also not bad because that means our organic sales grow. So this is how you can use visualization. Yeah, green is great, red is bad. It's pretty simple stuff. With data visualization in terms of formatting, can be done in any Excel file. So you can download, for example, your total sales by day. You can do it in fulfillment report, which is called all orders. Download or your sales and do the sales by ASIN. And then just do the color formatting, where it's from the conditional formatting from red, where is the lowest number, and green, the highest number. and you will have a heat map of your sales. And then you can identify, okay, now my business is performing better than it was before. So, or it's performing worse. Still, you see a lot of information, but it's much easier to understand. The next example is KPIs. I mentioned here organic sales percentage. So with the organic sales percentage, as you can see here, I made $30,000 in sales, but in terms of profit, I did $8,000 with 27% profit margin. It's nice. Then I look at it, $44,000 in sales, and I did only $3,000 in profit. The reason, because my organic sales went down from 39%, 79% to 28%. And this is actually that this KPI helps me identify what was the reason of my profit that it went down. So the next example, this is my favorite one, is the return on investment based on inventory. So the ROI equals profit divided by product cost, FBA landed, multiplied by 100%. So example, is you're selling on Amazon, the only cost you pay upfront is your inventory. Yeah, all the Amazon fees, referral fees, even advertising, everything can be deducted directly from your Amazon account, and you will even not see this money. So think in a different way. You invest, the only investment upfront is product cost. What if I'm gonna divide my profit by product cost, and then I will understand how much money I make from my initial investment. So as an example here, these headphones made $12,000 in profits with $20,000 investment into inventory. So profit margin is 18%, but I did 64 cents on each dollar investment. So the next one is combination of different reports. I suggest you to combine different reports together, and once you get this, use some sort of visualization for percentages. I personally break down data analytics by 3 parts. The first one is you just have a data set, let's say a P&L with all the data points and nothing there. The second case is you have numbers and you have percentages. And the best case, you have numbers, percentages, and then colors, because colors is the key. Yeah, they can help you identify the success, as always. So why you need to do this is to track dynamics, to spot traction, your business traction. Use color formatting in charts to save time. Combine different reports together to save time. Track KPIs to identify success. Create goals and do plan versus actual to identify success. Now, it was just a little bit of information how you can improve your in-house analytics with very simple steps. Like it's very easy to create a small plan, like saying, hey, I target to make $40,000 in sales because we're going to have a Prime Day this month approximately, yeah, or based on some seasonality, I understand that how much money I'm going to make. And if you're going to save these historical data, you will value it a lot in a half a year, in a year. You will find that this is one of the most valuable assets in your business is data and how you save it. So having plans, dynamics, all that stuff can help you. It's creating tremendous impact when you're starting scaling the business. So now let's see some useful Amazon analytics that are already configured and available for every seller. I will start with the seller performance. So if you go to Amazon, your Seller Central account, you go to the business reports, you will find seller performance tab. Most sellers are usually using sales dashboard, sales and traffic, detailed pages, and also sales and orders by month. But my personal favorite is business reports, and here is why. The first thing that you have here is a chart. Then you have a breakdown by day, week, or months with different metrics. What you can do, you can pick any metric that you want and you can show it on the chart. So that we just talked about this previously, yeah, about dynamics and traction. You have already a tool built inside of Amazon that can show you, for example, I'm showing here refund rate. You can show here orders, average order value, conversion rates, traffic. Let's, for example, a mobile version versus browser versions. Everything is here. What is also a hidden gem, if you look on the right corner of your display, you will see this show hide columns button. And if you open it, you will see a long list of different metrics that you can check mark them, and you will see this performance by day, by week, and by months, and you can visualize this data on this chart. So this is really, really valuable and fully free already on your Amazon account. And I think it just needs a little bit more of sharing about this. The next one, of course, Campaign Manager. I will be very brief here. You have spend, sales, orders, ACAS. You can change this metric, click on this drop down. You can pick the metric, and as you can see the colors, if you click on this metric, you will see this on the chart. So you can also use this free option to create some sort of visuals and understanding how your business is going. The third one is payments. This one is for your finances. It's basically showing your cash flow. Yeah, where most of your money, when you receive a payout from Amazon, it's usually a big pain to understand, okay, what is consist of, like how much money of this I make from sales, what I paid for. This one is showing you a clear breakdown. And if you click on any of these metrics, you will have an even more detailed breakdown. Also, as a suggestion, there is a date range report that you can download from Amazon. And there is a transaction, is settlement ID. Using this settlement ID, if you filter, you will see even by order basis all of your transactions that you got into the payout. Because I'm getting a lot of questions like, hey, Damian, I think Amazon is not paying me enough, or they are overcharging me with something, and I don't really understand how to check this. Reports, payments, date range report, download it. You will see each transaction that you got, and if you sum it up, this is the money that you got in your bank account. So now what I want to show you from my company, this is a fully free tool. So I came here, guys, to you with a fully free value for sellers that are available right away, that everyone can just go ahead and check. So everyone understand the importance of keywords. And what I'm going to do, I will do also a live demo. I just figured out that I am sharing the screen, so I can do it live. Let me stop sharing my screen and let me open the tool. So this tool is going to provide you with an analytics of the search terms frequency. So should be this one. Yeah, I think this is it. So let's make an example. Yeah, very popular keyword right now is Barbie because of the movie. What we're going to show it to me right now, this tool is, it has inside all the search terms that are available on Amazon that your customers are entering to find the products. And it's using the metric which is called search terms frequency rank. That means the lowest rank, the more popular this keyword is. So it's not the search volume, it's the search frequency. So as you can see, for example, yeah, the blue one is Barbie. It was on about 500, yeah, 414, and now we went to number 3. Yeah, I think it's going to be number 1 next week already. So what this gives you, first of all, you can use this tool in different ways. You can use it to track the trend of the keywords that, like, your main keywords. You can use this tool as a semantic core. For example, you wanted to find some new keywords that have potentially high search volume, but you were not using it because, as you can see, I entered Barbie, but I have all the other keywords that include this word Barbie. And then you can also see the seasonality of a product, for example, of thanks to this, that you have multiple keywords. And you can also track the search frequency by keyword by week. So for example, we can see this significant impact of the movie on Amazon. Yeah, like 6th of May, we had Barbie had 414 search term frequency rank. So it means number 1 is the most popular, yeah, 414, and now it's number 3. Then I have all other search terms, and I can also see how they're moving, if it's better or worse. But there is more here below. Let's say I'm trying to research some keywords and I wanted to understand who is dominating in this category. So let's pick Barbie clothes. And now below I will see the report date, so I can see the dynamics. Yeah, I see the colors, as I mentioned before. So you can easily identify that the worst time for this keyword was 13th of May, and the best time was 22nd of July. And now I can see the top 1 ASIN that got purchased, top 2nd ASIN that got purchased, and top 3rd ASIN that got purchased. So basically I can see top 3 ASINs that are dominating in this category, and I can understand, like, you know, you can just click copy value and check it out on Amazon and understand, okay, this product is really good, and this one is dominating category. And you can do this with anything. Let's say what I want to do, I have a competitor, and this competitor is selling phones. My competitor, let's say it's going to be Apple. So let's enter brand name Apple. What are you going to show me? You're going to show me what are the top 5 search terms that Apple is in the top 3 purchase brands. So basically, it currently will provide me what are the top 3 keywords that Apple get most of the sales from. Now we can see that the first one is AirPods. Of course, because of July, it got more popular because there was a Prime Day. The AirPods, AirTag, Apple Watch, and iPad. Now I need to wait a little bit, but now I can see where are they showing on which keyword as is the top 3. Yeah, so I can see AirPods, Apple Watch, iPad, AirTag, and so on. If there is an empty space here, that means this brand was not in the top 3 selling. So using this tool, you basically can track your competition. You can do the semantic work. You can track the traffic, if it's going up, if it's going down, if it's a seasonality. And what is most beautiful, it's fully free. We will never get it to the paid version. It will be fully free, and you don't even need to sign up or to get access to this tool. So yeah, this is it. Thank you so much. If you wanted to reach out to me, if you are interested in My Real Profit, because we transitioned to the data analytics company, and we are providing advanced analytics tools that are fully customizable, you can reach out to me, Damian at myrealprofit.com. So yeah, thanks.
Hey, Damian. So we have a question here from Gus. It looks like it says, question for the current host. Do you know of a way to track and measure external traffic sources to Amazon listings?
Okay. External traffic sources to Amazon. Yes, there are tools that can provide you with this data. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are not. I'm trying to remember the name of the tool that is not very expensive. And I think its name is SERPstat, but I'm not sure. Oh, SEMrush. I think this is a SEMrush or SERPstat. Some of these tools can provide you with seeing what is external traffic and what backlinks you are getting to your Amazon listing. So I think this one can be helpful. So I just don't fully sure if it's SEMrush or SEMstat, but most likely it's a SEMrush.
Fantastic. All right. So you're getting some love in the chat box there as well, Damian. Gus says thanks. So really appreciate you coming on and sharing.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys.
All right. Thanks so much.
Man.
All right. Let's move on to our next speaker, Mr. Rich Goldstein. Rich, super excited to have you, my friend.
House Goldstein. Rich, you missed my new toy. Look at this official Sean Hart bobblehead. How cool is this?
That's a better view of it, Sean. Earlier it was
Rich. Your mic is muted, man.
Oh,
that's my Father's Day gift.
Yeah, nice. So you got
I just spoke your name. I spoke your name into existence today. My son Cash, he says, "Dad, I need a trademark. How do I get it?" I said, "I know a guy."
You do know a guy.
Rich,
cool.
He's excited to have you today, man.
Account.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really glad to be here. And by the way, Sean, thanks so much for the mic flags that you sent me.
Oh, you got that? Man, you got yours quickly.
Yeah, I just got them.
All right, good. You have to stuff some tissue in there to take up the space, but it looks cool on an interview.
I'm used to doing that, yeah, but
for your shoes, right?
Right, exactly, for my shoes.
All right.
Cool. So I'm going to talk about something a little broader than intellectual property today. I'm going to talk about how to how to really maximize the payout that you get when you sell your business with intellectual capital. So I know a lot of people have never even heard of intellectual capital. They've probably heard of intellectual property, the field that I'm in, but you know, intellectual capital, what's that? And I'm going to talk about it. And again, it's really an important framework for knowing how to get the most money when you sell your business. And like in general, you might be wondering why some businesses that are for sale, they get lots of offers, lots of people want to buy them, and other people sell. Other people struggle when they're trying to sell their business. And then again, some businesses sell for big money, many times their earnings, and then others get a very low payout. What's sometimes called liquidation value, just the value of kind of the equipment or the inventory. So I'm going to talk about the difference and how you achieve that difference for yourself. A little background on me. So I've been a patent attorney, intellectual property attorney for 29 years, got over 2,000 patents issued to my clients. I also wrote the book for the American Bar Association that explains in plain English how patents work, and it's called the ABA Consumer Guide to Obtaining a Patent. And lastly, I'm a certified exit planning advisor. And it's that part that really inspired this talk, this masterclass that I'm about to give. Kind of the process of becoming a certified exit planner really opened my eyes to the way in which businesses can maximize their value, get paid millions more at exit. And it goes beyond just my own personal field of intellectual property. So I want to kind of zoom out and show you that big framework so you can see how you could also get the most for your business. So in general, what's the purpose of your business? And it's pretty simple. I mean, there's really only one purpose of a business, and that's to create value. And some might also say to generate profit, but you could say creating value includes that. But sometimes people say that the value you create in the world is measured by more than just profit. Okay, I'll buy it. So let's just say if the purpose of your business is to create value, then how do we create value? So there's really two ways you can create value in your business. The first is clear. It's by selling products or services at a profit. You buy $200,000 worth of inventory, you sell it for $350,000. You make a profit of $150,000. That's one way in which you make money, is by selling your products at a profit. But the other way that you make, that you create value as you're running this business is the work that you do on the business itself. It's like the presentation before this one, where we're talking about numbers and analytics, the way in which you build out those things that just make your business work and make it work sustainably. That's creating value in the business itself. So, I mean, imagine that while you bought $200,000 worth of inventory, sold it for $350,000 over the period of a year, while you were doing all that, all of a sudden, your business is also worth, let's say, $300,000. So you've created the profit, but you've also created value in your business. That's real, that you could cash in on if you do things right. So it's that second way that I'm really going to focus on, is creating a valuable business, creating a business that's sustainable, that's transferable, that you could transfer to someone else and they could step into the business and make money with it just like you have. So in general, the value of a business, then we're talking about the business itself. So the value is composed of two things. It's composed of tangible assets, and those are things like your inventory in an Amazon business, but in other businesses, you might own a real estate, you might own a factory or trucks, you might have actual liquid assets like cash or securities. And so you have tangible assets in your business is one, but it's this other category that's the most interesting. That's intangible assets. And so intangible assets are not things that you could readily trade for money, but things that become invaluable when they're coupled with your business, when they're coupled with the money-making machine that you've created. So we call this intellectual capital. And so intellectual capital are those intangible parts of the business that make up its value. And sometimes it's also called knowledge capital, because again, it's not about physical things. It's about the know-how that you created in your business that takes on various forms. And there's 4 C's of intellectual capital. So it follows, each of them is a different one of these capitals. Let me just go to the next one. So it's human capital, customer capital, social capital, and structural capital. These are the 4 types of capital that are valued by people that are purchasing your business. And in general, the human capital is the value of your team. So you've put together a team that has certain know-how, has certain knowledge, certain ability to get the job done. That has value. That's called human capital. Customer capital is the value of your customer relationships. And outside of the Amazon platform, that's often considered like the nature of the customer relationships, where it's like, are they one-time buyers, or are they frequent buyers? Are they just walk-in traffic? Let's say you have a store, and really all of your customers are just people that walk in one time when they're going to the train station, and they're people that don't ever come back typically unless they're in the area. That has a lower value of customer capital than if you had a whole bunch of customers that are in contracts. They're in long-term contracts. They're paying you monthly recurring revenue. Those are more valuable customers. Social capital is the value of your brand and the value of your culture. If you took that brand away from the business, what might it lose? Like, in what ways would it be less valuable? And then lastly, the structural capital. And structural capital are the systems that you create. The systems you create that are reliable, that are sustainable. And it's also intellectual property, which is my field, intellectual property law. So a really interesting thing about this. So like, where do we think that most businesses' value is? Is it in the tangible, the physical things, the real estate and such, the inventory, or is in those intangible things like about our human capital, our social capital, customer capital, et cetera? Well, here's an interesting thing that's happened. It's a trend. And I was really, really thrilled when I found this graphic. And this was put together by a European insurance consultancy. And this really illustrates the role that intangible assets have taken over the years and what they are now. So like back in the 70s, we had companies that were the largest companies in the world, such as IBM, ExxonMobil, Procter & Gamble, GE, and 3M. And back then, all of the S&P 500 had a total of about 600 billion intangible and 120 billion intangible. So it was roughly 5 to 1, tangible to intangibles. Mostly the real estate. It was mostly, again, it's like ExxonMobil has ships, and Procter & Gamble has factories and ports, and and companies like IBM manufacturing lots of machinery. So that's the way it was. It was mostly tangible. But now, if you look over the years, things shifted quite a bit. It shifted towards, maybe in the 90s, Coca-Cola was one of the biggest, and Walmart, and really the value was in the brand. And then now, toward the present day, 2018, biggest companies in the world, Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. And now, if you look at where the intangible is, this blue area here, 21 trillion intangible, 4 trillion tangible. So now it's the opposite. It's about 5 to 1 tangible to intangible, which means intangible assets in the most valuable companies of the world, right? And a lot of times we learn things from how they operate. In the most valuable companies of the world, intangible is 25 times more valuable than it was 50 years ago, back in the 70s. So there's a lot of emphasis being placed on this. And if you look at, now if you're into stocks and you look at PE ratios, the price to earning ratio, for many of these companies, they're in the neighborhood of 50. They're trading for 50 times what the earnings are. And that's not because of the fixed assets. That's because of all those intangibles they've created around their brand and the structure and the intellectual property. So, and now in general, when you go to sell your business, you're going to be, the way that they determine the value of your business, the way that would-be acquirers determine the value of your business is by using the EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, depreciation, taxation. And you could also consider that to be basically your yearly profit. You're making $1 million a year. That's going to be your EBITDA. And then there's a multiple of that's paid. So let's say if there's a multiple of 4, then you have $1 million of profit, then you're looking at a $4 million valuation. Okay. So generally, it's the EBITDA times a multiple. Now, granted, you do a lot of things to try to increase the profit of your business. So all the things you work on to make it more profitable, more sustainable, that's great. But in general, when you get to the end of the year, your profit is your profit. You can't change that. You can't, you can't change those numbers for would-be acquirer. But what you can do is work on that multiple, on the multiple that they're willing to pay. And so now, in general, the multiple that they're willing to pay is based upon how they see your company, on how attractive it is. It's based on an assessment of on the longevity and the potential. So the longevity is like, okay, so if they're going to pay you 4 times what your yearly profit is, then they're betting on the fact that there's going to be enough longevity that the party is going to continue on for at least 4 years after they buy the company to recoup their investment, right? And it's also the potential. So baked into that is also, well, they see that you're making $1 million a year, but they think they can grow to $3 million a year. So that's going to factor in too. So it really is a factor of how attractive the business occurs to them. Okay. And for any given business in any given industry, there's a range of multiples. So if you're in the, I don't know, let's say trucking business, the range of multiples might be 3 to 7. In a different business, it might be 2 to 6. Amazon businesses could be somewhere between 2 and I've seen 8, but that was more back in 2021 than it is today. But the most attractive businesses get at the higher range of that multiple. But the first thing you need to consider, though, is what is the range of multiples for your business? What's the range that's possible? Because that's, again, for a $1 million business, that's the difference between getting $3 million and getting $7 million on exit. And one of the secrets here is that the most transferable businesses are the ones that are most attractive to buyers. And those are the ones that get the highest multiples. So the things that make your business transferable are the things which really help the value along. Because if a business is all about you, if it's all about the way in which you operate the business, the way in which you gather the customers, or anything else that you do, then if an owner is going to step in and buy it, then a lot of that stuff will evaporate. So any of those things that make it transferable, that it's clear that a new owner can step in and do just the same as you are, then that's what makes it more valuable. And so intellectual capital, the 4 C's that we talked about, are the things that help position your business as what's called best in class. Best in class is like, hey, we're looking at a whole bunch of different seller accounts, but these guys really have it together. They've got their systems in place. They're the most attractive to us as buyers. They're the ones that are going to be attributed the highest multiple. And so we call those best in class, and they're the ones that receive the highest multiples and therefore the highest exit payout. Now, so again, the way in which you bring something to be best in class is by building that intellectual capital, building those intangibles about your business that make it attractive. And so just as a couple of examples here. So like when it comes to human capital, that's the value of your team. But we could expand that a bit and say that's also the SOPs you've created and documented, right? So you've got ways in which you do stuff, but have you documented them? Because having them documented and say having them in a neat little manual will show that you've created that structure, you've created that human capital, and having some key team members that have documented their processes so that if they were to leave the company, someone else could step in and it could be business as usual. That's critical. That's critical for establishing that intangible of human capital. Social capital, again, is the value of your brand and culture. Customer capital, now again, in a traditional business, customer capital is like what we talked about. Are your customers walk-ins or are they long-term contracts? How much can we rely on those customers to continue to buy over and over again? But in the Amazon world, it still applies, but it's maybe a little bit different. Customer capital might be in terms of the way in which you've optimized your listings and your brand pages, and the reviews that you've acquired. Because these are the things that make the sales you generate more stable, right? If you've got 10,000 reviews, then you know that that's going to be something that helps create repeat buyers and new buyers to come in. Other things could be like ways in which you could communicate directly with your customers so that they buy again. I mean, granted, on Amazon, you can't scrape the customer data, but there are different ways in which you can acquire your customer data so that you could then email them, you communicate with them. All of those things support customer capital value for you as an Amazon seller. And then in terms of structural capital, again, that's the value of the systems and all the systems you've set up, including the reliable manufacturing and sourcing pathways that help keep your products in stock, any fulfillment systems, customer service systems that keep the customers happy, systems that use feedback so that they then get used in any product revisions that you do or new product development. All of these structural systems help to create that intangible value that position you as best in class. And then, of course, there's intellectual property, and that's my area. So I'm going to talk a bit about IP and how you could leverage that in your business. So, first of all, IP, intellectual property, if that wasn't clear, and that's the field of the law that deals with the protection of ideas. It's patents, trademarks, and copyrights, also trade secrets. And that's how we protect our products, our apps and software platforms, our branding, and also our content. And in general, people get confused between the different types of IP protection that applies. And they'll say something like, that's a really cool idea for a product, you should copyright it, or, great product name, get a patent on that. And when people say those things, it just reflects a misunderstanding or a mismatch between the type of protection and the thing that you're looking to protect. So here's an easy way to remember it. If you're talking about products and what makes a product different, then you're talking about patents. If you're talking about branding, the things that show you as a specific source of a product, as a specific manufacturer of a product, let's say like the name Nike or the swoosh for Nike. Well, those branding things that people see, when they see it, they say, oh, that's a sneaker from a specific company. Those branding things are protected by trademarks. And then when it comes to content, your images, your videos and other items of content, they are protected by copyright. So now, in general, if you want to maximize your IP, you get the most when you have a business that itself has the value based on earnings, because it helps to increase the multiple. So basically, here's the thing, like sometimes people look at patents and they say, well, is it really worth it? Like if I applied for the patent and I got it, like, will I be able to sell that patent? Well, trying to sell a patent or trying to sell a trademark on a brand that's never taken off or never gotten off the ground is really speculative. It's like someone looking at it saying like, well, maybe I could make something of that, but you've never proven that anything could be done with it. It's going to be speculative. It's not going to be worth much. But if you build a business that has earnings, you build a business that's got $1 million to $2 million in earnings, and then you also have IP that's relevant to the business that you've built, the products that you've built, it's going to increase the multiple. So if instead of you getting a 3-time multiple on those $2 million in earnings, leading to a $6 million payout, you instead get a 4-time multiple because of the IP, because it makes it more attractive, then that's an extra $2 million. You're now getting $8 million instead of 6. So the way in which you make the most out of IP is by building a business that has value itself, and then it helps to multiply that value. So it increases the multiple that you paid at exit. Okay, so then now talking about trademarks a little bit. Trademarks are the things that protect your company name, product names, and other branding. That could include logos and slogans. Again, it could be like the name Nike, it could be the swoosh, it could be the phrase "just do it." Those all could be protected with trademarks, and that could be the basis of creating some IP assets. And they're relatively inexpensive. So patents, you're looking, well, for utility patents, which we'll talk about in a moment, you're probably looking at north of $10,000. Trademarks, typically can acquire a trademark in around the $2,000 range. So they're relatively inexpensive, and really, so it's a no-brainer, because if you don't have the trademark rights, not having the rights to the branding, it can kill an acquisition deal. I mean, anyone who has handled acquisitions in the Amazon space can tell you stories of someone who was about to get a $7 million check, but they realized that there were issues around the brand name. And the brand owner never filed their trademark applications, or when they did, they did something that was a bit off course, and there's some possibility of confusion. There's some possibility that there might be a conflict over the name. That has cost many people many millions of dollars. So they're relatively inexpensive. It's a no-brainer. Just do your trademarks. And of course, the registered trademark gives you access to brand registry on Amazon. And brand registry has various benefits beyond just enforcing it against other brands. Now, when it comes to patents, they protect physical products, chemical compositions, and also the appearance or design of a product. So physical products, it could be all types of actual physical products. Chemical compositions can be things like a new skincare lotion that has a different combination of ingredients. It could be a supplement that has some unique or unexpected ingredients in the composition. So those are two major categories. And then also could be the appearance or design of a product. And then finally, processes can be protected. So it could be a manufacturing process, a unique manufacturing process that you have. And process also includes software. So if you built a software platform that has a process to it that's unique, that could be protected as a series of steps that the software goes through when it's achieving the result that it does. So, that could be a very valuable asset if you've got a SaaS company, is to apply for patents. And that could be a big shift in the value at exit. And in general, to understand the two different types of patents that you can create, first is a utility patent. And that's what you typically think of if you think of an invention, right? You think of someone improving an existing product. So they've made some functional or structural changes from existing products. And that's what the utility patent is based on. It's based on that functionality. And then there's the design patent. And a design patent is really all about the ornamental appearance of a product. It's just about the way that it looks. It's just about the shape of the bottle, let's say. But this could be extremely valuable. And in fact, it's become very valuable on Amazon for a couple of reasons. Well, one of the reasons is this. So utility patent is all about functionality and structural differences. And in a utility patent document, what the patent covers is described in words. So it's described whether it's it's a can that has an opening at the top, and then it's got a sealed flap against it, and then like an opener. Like, you describe in words what the invention actually is. And sometimes that could be hard to interpret and figure out if someone's infringing or not. Design patent is just about the way the product looks. And the way that infringement is determined is with the pictures. So now just think about Amazon and think about Amazon Seller Central and how they handle things not very efficiently typically, right? But it's like if you had a complaint about someone infringing a utility patent, you're putting them in a position of you're putting Amazon in the position of trying to interpret your patent, trying to interpret the words. But if it's about a design patent, if you make a complaint about someone infringing a design patent, they look at the pictures and they say, well, yeah, that looks similar, shut them down. So design patents have become a very important tool on Amazon because it's an easier pathway to get competitors shut down if they copy your design. And most of the time on Amazon, people don't get imaginative about how they knock you off. They don't get inspired by your product and just go and create their own version. They just duplicate it. They make it the same, in which case it's going to look the same and it will probably infringe your design patent. So design patents can be a great tool on Amazon. Now, and this is important. The timing is critical. When it comes to patents, when it comes to whether you can ever get a patent, you need to apply for a patent at an early enough stage to prevent you from losing out under the law. And like in the US, the rule is that if a year has passed since the product's been publicly disclosed, meaning it's been on a listing page, or the product has been for sale in any way, or it's been described on a website, 1 year from that publication, it becomes too late to ever apply for a patent in the US. And actually in foreign countries, it's more prohibitive. If you've disclosed it even a day before you apply for a patent, then you lose out. So this is something that most people don't know. Actually, very few entrepreneurs know this. And way too many times I have people come to me with a product that's just a real hit and they want to protect it. And I ask them how long they've been selling, and they tell me, oh, 18 months and it's about to explode. We just got to protect it. But at that point, it's too late. So here's the thing. You need to balance the fact that when you're launching a product, you have limited resources, and those resources you want to put into getting inventory and promoting the product, into buying clicks, or whatever it is you need to spend money on. And so getting a patent is competing with all that. And so sometimes it's a good investment, sometimes it's not a good investment. But the thing is, that is the one and only time you have to ever apply for a patent. So you need to look at it at an early stage and then decide, is it worth doing? Because you'll lose the rights quickly to ever apply for a patent if you don't. And on the trademark side of things, there is no set time bar. You could be selling a product for 20 years and not have applied for the trademark. If no one else has entered the field with a similar name and made it confusing, then you could apply for a trademark, and it won't stop you, the fact that you've been selling under that brand for 20 years. But if other people enter the field and have confused who the brand owner is, or if someone else files a trademark application before you do, it's become a much more expensive proposition to try to get that trademark and try to take control of that brand. So it pays to file at an early stage, especially since it's relatively inexpensive. Now, again, key to maximizing is to audit your IP. You might say, well, we've got a couple of trademarks, not really sure what they are, not really sure when they need to be renewed. There might be some new products you're creating that might be good candidates for patents. Might be some new brands and new industries or product lines that you've entered that might be the basis for trademarks. So essentially, you want to have that audited. You want to have someone take a look at that and figure out if you've got something that has opportunities to create those IP assets that are going to make your business more attractive. Because you could look at IP as a cost center, something you spend money on, but you could also look at it as something that's going to get you an ROI if you get to exit. Because there's really almost no way to not get an ROI on IP if you get to exit. And of course, not all businesses get to exit. Wrapping this up, if you want to learn more about patents, I'll send you a copy of my book, the one I wrote for the American Bar Association. Just email my assistant. So email clients@goldsteinpc.com. You send your mailing address and phone number, and your physical mailing address, because it's a physical book, and we'll send you a copy of the book. And if you want to find out how we can help you to maximize your IP, you can talk to Larry Slavin on my team. And easy way to set that up is speaktolarry.com. And that's it.
Love it.
Drop the mic.
Great, my friend Rich. Make sure you tell Danielle that Crystal and I said hello.
I certainly will.
Great sharing, my friend. Let's see if we have any questions in here from anyone. Chad says great. All right. I sent an email in April, never got a book response, says Charles. Do you see that in the chat box there?
Sent an email, never got a book response. Yeah, that's a good question. Send it again. And I'll, if you send it this afternoon, I am going to double check. I'll check with my assistant to make sure that it's received.
I'm sure you'll get your book because Rich sends me stuff and I don't even have to ask for it. But I do not have your book yet. I'm disappointed. I'm going to have to find one.
Well, you can send an email to clients@goldsteinpc with your mailing address and phone number, and we'll send it.
All right. I'm going to check it out. So let's see. Have a question here. Where do I register trademark and how long does it take to get it?
You register a trademark, a U.S. trademark, you register with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. It's taking over a year these days to get it. So one of the reasons it really pays to get that application in as soon as possible.
Okay. Oscar says, what's your advice regarding protecting ourselves in China with function and designs of products, especially with suppliers and manufacturers of your products?
Well, here's the thing. So patents are jurisdictional. So a U.S. patent is good in the U.S. and its territories, preventing anyone from making, using, or selling or importing into the U.S., right? So you don't specifically need a Chinese patent to prevent someone from selling the product. From making it in China and bringing it in here. A U.S. patent would solve that. But if you think that there's a market for your product in China, then it pays to get a Chinese patent as well. On the trademark side, it's become a bit more complicated because there are people that will, say you're manufacturing in China, there are people that will go and get your trademark in China and prevent you from exporting it. So on the trademark side, it does pay to get your brand registered, your trademark registered in China as well.
Okay, great. Solid advice. Don't go anywhere, folks. One more question for Rich, and then my friend Ritu is here from PPC Ninja. She's going to blow your mind with some ninja tactics to help with your PPC ROI. So, Rich, they say, thanks, great, wonderful presentation. Is it possible, last question, is it possible to change your brand if you can get a trademark on your existing brand in order to sell your brand?
It's possible to change your brand. You might not have as much momentum behind that, though. If you create a new brand that's trademarkable, you might be starting over again in terms of building momentum and brand recognition of that branding. So it might be less valuable.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Rich. Looks like that's all the time we have. Thank you again for taking the time out to hang out with us today, Rich. Looks like folks really enjoyed your presentation. And I know I'm going to see you at one of these events, man. I just taken a sabbatical here for several weeks, but
I don't blame you. Yeah. And I know
I'll see you down
I'll
the
see you
road.
in the fall for sure.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
All right, my friend. All right, Ritu, you are ready to go. There she is. Beautiful Ritu.
Hello.
Nice to see you again from
Same
PPC
here.
Ninja.
Yes.
I know you have some ninja hacks for us today, right?
Yes, I hope so. Yes.
So, folks, Ritu is one of those very few individuals that every single time I talk to her about her business, she blows my mind. I never get a chance to tell you how thankful I am for all the ideas and strategies that you share in the industry, because you definitely do serve the industry as a whole. Thank you for that. Since
Thank
we're
you.
a few minutes behind, we'll just jump right in. Ritu, are you going to be doing a
sure.
screen share?
Yes, I will be doing a screen share. So
Okay.
yeah, let me share my screen and we'll get
Let me
started.
get my face out of there. You should be able to share screen.
All righty. Okay.
We have your screen. Go for it.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you for
Okay.
coming.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, so we will try to make up, actually, can you tell me how many minutes I have? Like, is it 30 minutes? I need to finish on the hour? I think so. Okay, we'll just assume that. Okay. All right. So yeah, so today I will be talking.
Sorry, Ritu,
yeah.
I was muted. You're the last speaker, so take as much time as you need.
So it's typically 30 minutes, correct?
Yes, yes, typically 30 minutes, but there's no one waiting on you, so you have the floor.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, we'll get started. So today I'm going to be talking to you about, building a data ecosystem using two of Google's very, easy to access platforms. One is Looker Studio, which, as you guys might know, is a business intelligence visualization software. And then we also have BigQuery, which is a data warehousing solution also by Google. So I'm going to talk about how you could use these two to actually build a data ecosystem. And why do you want to build a data ecosystem? It's because you're getting data from multiple sources, and in order to make business decisions fast, you could either have like some sort of not yet made all-in-one tool that can consolidate data from different streams and give you like this perfect picture of your business, or you could try to do a combination of using whatever softwares that are out there that can give you some part of the information in a consolidated way, and then you layer in your own data stream. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff today. Feel free to save up your questions for the end, because there's a lot of like concepts that I'll be going through, and then we can have a little chat at the end and see how we might be able to help you with setting up something like this. All right, so I'm going to start with a simple statement, which is some sort of KPI, such as like my ACOS or my TACOS or whatever. So people say this like all the time without realizing how inaccurate this is. So basically, when you say something like my ACOS is 10%, I'd like to say, so what? Data is never static. You never have ACOS at a particular number forever. It's going to change, it's going to go up, it's going to go down. You're going to have some sort of aggregation that you'll have to look at. So the problem with most people and the way they look at data is that they're only looking at snapshots. So what is a snapshot? The idea of a snapshot is that you go to Amazon, you request for a report over a certain date range, let's say the past 30 days or past 65 days or whatever, and you download this report. Now, this report has a bunch of aggregate numbers for that period. It doesn't tell you a story at all. It just tells you what it is over that entire period. You don't know the details of how things went up or down, whether the trend is up or down. You know none of that stuff. Plus, you can't compare this with a previous understanding of what your data used to look like, maybe even a week ago, because unless you stitch those pieces together, you don't know the trend. So essentially, a snapshot is a one-time cross-sectional measure of data that is destined to change, even the very next moment, right? It may not be the same. So what do? You basically want multiple snapshots, right? Not just one. You probably need multiple snapshots, and then you need to stitch them together to make them time series so that you can make intelligent decisions based on trends and not on snapshots. So what is the comparison between snapshots and time series? Basically, snapshots are only giving you like a one-time analysis of stuff, and then it's only aggregate data. You're not getting the details. Whereas time series data is continuous data stream, because this is based on dates. You always have a timeline with time series data. You'll have dates and you'll see something happen on that date, whether it is you're talking about ACOS, or you're talking about telcos, or you're talking about sales or spend. You'll see a bunch of different metrics measured on a daily basis that you can see over time. So that's continuous data analysis. You can also do drill downs. You can actually go down from like a higher concept grouping or a dimension, and then you can go down deeper and deeper and deeper, and you can see all of those deeper analysis again on the timeline. You can see it on a time series. So that's the ideal kind of deep dive analysis. When you're troubleshooting something, you want to be able to go into a SKU, and then within that you want to be able to go into, let's say, a campaign, or within that into a keyword, and you want to see all of that on a timeline. So drill downs are possible, and then you want to be able to see trends. You can see trend lines. You can combine data from different sources, because the one common thing, across different data sources is the time. The time itself will be able to help you combine that and collapse that information into a new dashboard, maybe. You can draw correlations this way. For example, you could have a trend line of, let's say, buy box percentage, and compare that with sales over time. Or you could, let's say, do a comparison of price versus conversion rate, or price versus click-through rate, or things like that, right? So those are coming from different sources. One is coming from organic or listing, one is coming from ad, and then you can also look at search query performance and bring that in also. So then you can see correlations very clearly, because till that point, it's just like this disparate pieces of information sticking around, and you don't really know how to put that all together. Predictions. You can make predictions based on continuous data, because you have regression modeling and things like that that can help you decide, okay, this looks like it's headed here, so maybe we should do this, right? Data sufficiency. You have enough data when you have multiple days and all of them are on separate dates. You can get data separately, and then you have enough data, rather than if you take a snapshot, which is just going to give you aggregate for that one day. So these are all the reasons why we favor time series over snapshots as the more superior way of looking at data. Okay, so with that being said, you need some sort of framework in your organization so that you can actually collect all this data and build it up to a point that you can actually start using it the way I described. So the most common data management framework out there is the ETL, and I've just added the V to it. What does ETL stand for? It stands for extract, transform, and load. So extract is the idea that you're extracting data from different sources. One example of an extract could be, going to Amazon, downloading the search term report, or going to Amazon, downloading the inventory report for a day, for a particular date. And then transforming is the act of scrubbing your data so that it's clean enough that it can be stitched together. And this process generally takes up the most amount of creativity, because you have to kind of think and plan ahead. You have to think of things like, oh, this report is reporting on ASINs. That other report is reporting on SKUs. How do I combine them? Well, let's build this lookup table with ASINs on one column and SKUs on the other column. And then we combine these three tables, and then we have the full information, because now you can search on SKU or you can search on ASIN, right? So that transformation step of data scrubbing, also adding, columns of timestamps into reports that don't come inbuilt with timestamps. That's another act of transforming. Just to give you an example, your search query performance report, when you download that, it already has a column that says this is the date on which you analyzed or downloaded, whereas a search term report does not have that column. So how do you put that in? So you will actually have to plant some extra pieces of data into documents that don't have them, so that you can have the whole combination work for you. And then you start to load that data up. When we say load, we're basically talking about some sort of data warehouse where you're basically running some sort of SQL queries or some sort of scheduled queries that will pick up these different pieces of data, combine them into one gigantic table that is flat, which means that it has all the date information in it, but it's also just a bunch of rows, a lot of rows. So that's where you've basically rendered your data and you've loaded it up now. So once you've loaded up your data into a data warehouse, now it's ready for visualization, for further querying, and for analysis and stuff like that, which is why I added the V. And this is where you can basically hook up things like a Looker Studio or something, or even Tableau or any other business intelligence software that uses a data source, which is coming from this third step, right? So let's summarize that. Extract, transform, load. Extract is basically downloading reports. Transform is the step of scrubbing them and preparing them for the next collection. And then in load, you basically combine everything up and start to create these long form flat files, which just have date information and all the other stuff, including performance, etc. Visualization is, again, the act of like using some sort of BI tool to kind of dip into the data. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're talking about a low-code, no-code framework, which basically means that you don't really need like a full-time programmer or anything. You don't really need any kind of outsourcing or any of that stuff, because a lot of these frameworks come with like a low code, no code mindset, so that with very little effort, you can connect things up. For example, APIs, there's a lot of pipes and tools, things like that, that provide you data from one source and, help you land that data into another source. For example, Keepa. Keepa is an API that gives you information about price changes or buy box changes, things like that. There's lots of data that comes from Keepa that you could simply pipe into your BigQuery instance if you set up one. And then basically with just a little bit of code, maybe with the help of someone who understands SQL to some extent, you can actually put that information together, and that's how you can kind of get the framework that I was talking about. Now let's look at what this data ecosystem that I'm talking about looks like. We have implemented like internally for PPC Ninja clients, because we're an agency, right? We do advertising. We have set something like this up for ourselves because we need this data all the time. So we have Google Sheets. Google Sheets is where our advertising data coming out of PPC Ninja software is pushed daily into Google Sheets, right? So we have this coming in here. Then we have other sources of data, which we either pass through a VA whose only job is to download and upload, download and upload. That's it. That's their only job. And then we have some software pieces that will pick things up from certain folders and then add them to BigQuery automatically, so that the VA's job is simplified. They don't need to touch some of our more sensitive kind of data sources or locations. And then we can do things like Keepa and stuff like that. So there could be many more APIs that you can bring in and have that data live inside BigQuery, which is your data warehouse. And then you visualize it with Google Looker Studio. So now let's look at some examples of how we can visualize data, just so I give you a flavor of like what are the different things that are possible, right? So some of the goals of business intelligence tools like Looker Studio, number one is to join and blend data from multiple sources. So within your Looker Studio, you have an option to kind of do stitching together of data, which can basically dip into your BigQuery and bring that information over, and you can actually visualize from two different sources. You can visualize, analyze data, and also drill down. You can create two types of dashboards. I like to call them push dashboards and pull dashboards. So push dashboards are the ones which automatically tell you something is off here, or pay attention to this, or do this this set of steps, etc., etc. Those are push dashboards because they're informing you of things that you need to pay attention to. And then there are pull dashboards where you need to actually go in and you need to do some drill downs and then kind of do some sort of troubleshooting and try to figure out where the problem is. Like when you're troubleshooting, you need to drill down and dive down. So those two types of dashboards can be designed by you so that they serve the purpose of either pushing or pulling data. Okay, so now let's look at how we can connect data sources with Looker Studio. So within data within Looker Studio, we actually have a simple philosophy, which is create a template once and then use it multiple times. So like this is an example of a template that we created in Looker Studio, which basically helps us audit accounts when they come to us. So this, as you can see, it has all the KPIs you need. It has things that are, already designed. And it's as simple as swapping out the data source. Instead of pointing to the Google Sheets export from PPC Ninja for one client, we just switch it to the same kind of export of another client. Just by switching them around, you can basically have their data populate. So how cool is that, right? I know that you guys are maybe not all agencies, maybe some of you are, but when you need to do certain things over and over again, it's probably best to design the front end and just swap out the back end very simply, instead of having to once again download all the reports and then analyze them from scratch and then put up some sort of dashboard for it. Just do it the other way around. Just visualize how you would like the end product to look like, and then swap out the data source only. So in terms of data sources, what kind of data sources does Looker Studio support? So here are some of them. You can actually connect your Looker Studio to another Looker Studio, which is pretty common from Looker to Looker, or to your Google Analytics. If you have a website and you're tracking that, you can get that data streamed in directly. They already have a nice connection there. You can also bring in your Google Ads. You can bring in Google Sheets. Another one is BigQuery, which is what we're talking about today. Or you could even just do a file upload, like a CSV or whatever, and then you can basically use that as a starting point for building out your templates, etc. So there's a lot of possibilities over here. Now let's look at specifically for Amazon, since a lot of you are selling on Amazon or are interested in it. So Amazon data sources for your data analytics could have sources coming into your BigQuery like this. So you could have your ad data, which is coming in as a time series, which means daily ad performance coming in through some sort of pipe or some sort of API. Second, your organic data, which can come in as a time series again, right? Your search query performance, which can be either weekly or monthly. That could also be brought in here so that you can analyze it together with some of the other impacts here. Your keyword rank tracking on a time series, which is very hard to get actually, because there's only a few tools that support the time series aspect of it. Most tools will give you a trend, but then you have to go to that tool and you have to look at the trend on a keyword basis. You don't have an export out of that so that you can compare that result with something else you're seeing in some other place. So you're bringing all of this together into BigQuery, and then you're visualizing with Looker Studio. Okay, now let's look at some examples. So the first example is being able to see PPC and organic data on the same timeline. So this is what it looks like. This red line is basically, the red bar is your ad sales, gray bar is your organic sales. And then I just created a calculated field, which is easy to do with Looker. You create a calculated field, which basically does a ratio, which is PPC ratio, PPC to total sales ratio. And you can see the trend of that over time, right? So that's one way of looking at your data. So there's unlimited possibilities. No one really gives you PPC ratios over time. You might be able to calculate as a snapshot, but this is how you can do it over time, which is really powerful because then you can see what's going on a daily basis. You can even aggregate this like by weeks or months or whatever, so then you can see longer trends and so on. Another example I want to share is from search query performance. When you have search query performance as a file that you've downloaded, you can see barely anything. It doesn't speak to you as, urgently as if you look on a timeline like this. So here's what I did. I pulled the last 9 months of data. So that's starting from October, actually it was September. So September through May, I pulled all this data. And for each search query that shows up, I basically calculated the amount or the dollar amount of that search query by simply multiplying the price point, which the search query performance gives you, the average price point multiplied by the ASIN brand share. So whatever the count of ASINs was that had a purchase, I just multiplied that by the average price point, and that way I can get a dollar amount of how much that particular search term or keyword is bringing me, and then I can see that over time. So as you can see, the first search query went from $23,000 almost all the way up to $51,000, and then dropped down to 16, 29, 24, 16, and here I kind of created like a trend line that also shows me the same information visually. So it's easy to kind of see, oh, this was an anomaly month, for example. So things like that can be done very easily when you've created a time series data source. Here's another one, share of voice by search query over time. So here are your search queries. Again, you have multiple months, and then you can see what your impression share was over time. And then you can see the trend line here again. Another example, again, from search query performance is the share of voice over time. But this time I'm basically comparing the impression total count, which means for all of the brands out there for a particular search term, what was the trend? So this is the blue line, right? Then I am taking the brand's share. This brand's share was 11.75 here in September. Then it went down, it went up, and then it dropped way down. It came to 8.2% and so on. So you can see here what's happened in this month where everybody else had a growth in impression share, but this brand actually went the opposite direction. So you can tell that this might have been some sort of anomaly that happened, and you can see that visually. So all of this stuff is possible when you combine multiple data sources and plot them together like this. Now, in order to build that report, the search query performance, I basically took 120 minutes, had the VA kind of download monthly search query performance report, upload them to Google BigQuery. And then I had to do something which is known as connected sheets. Connected sheets is this idea that within Google Sheets, you can actually hook up a connected data source, which can be BigQuery or it could be Looker. And you bring that data into Google Sheets, and then you can analyze it. Now, why didn't I directly put all of this information into Google Sheets? I'll let you guys think about it for a second. Just remember that search query performance is voluminous data. It has so many columns and so many rows. In order to put all of that information into Google Sheets, basically you're risking the sheet getting, it basically hangs all the time, right? Google Sheets is not meant for large volumes of data. It's okay for a certain amount beyond which it starts to crash. So instead you have this nice buffer, you put everything into your warehouse and just pull in whatever you need, because then the filtering, the processing, etc., happens here, and it only gets displayed here. And so it saves you, a lot of headaches, and you can still do the visualizations as normal through Google Connected Sheets. Okay, another example, keyword analysis. Here in keywords, what I've done is on the left side, I have search terms. On the right side, I have keywords. So I've created a Sankey diagram, which is something that Looker Studio provides. And so what you can see here is that these search terms, you can trace them back to the keyword that it came from. So when you see this stuff happening visually, you can actually trace it back and make decisions on, okay, maybe it looks like this particular keyword is, most of the contribution of sales is coming from this one. So if we want to rank for this search term, then we need to push this keyword over here, because that's what's going to lead to, this one getting more exposure and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of cool analysis you can do with Looker Studio like this. Again, this one took me just 30 minutes because it was just a sponsored product search term report, which I downloaded, and I just analyzed that directly in Looker Studio. Another example is keyword to match type. So let's say you have these keywords, you want to see, okay, which match type is giving me the best performance or the most amount of sales. You can see that also like this very easily. Another example is placement performance. As you guys know, there's two placements with sponsored brand ads. There's the top of search and then the rest of search, right? Top of search tends to look better, has a better CTR, generally speaking, has a better conversion rate, also generally speaking. But what happens is that Amazon internally distributes your impressions without your permission. Like they can just decide that most of your impressions are going to be here and not here. Like you don't know that till you analyze it. So when I analyzed it, I see these campaigns and these placements, and I can see that, for example, this campaign had a majority of their sales come from rest of search, whereas this campaign had a majority of their sales come from top of search. So I can then do a little bit more of a deep dive and see, okay, what's going on? Do you think I can get rid of the rest of search, by doing some setting adjustments? And it is possible, by the way. With sponsored brands, you can actually lower the bid multiplier on rest of search, and that way you can kind of control where a majority of your placements are likely to show up. All right, let's talk about another example, SKU performance over time. So this is basically something that I've always wanted and never had inside of Seller Central. Most of us think in terms of SKUs, right? We want to see for this SKU, what was the trend like? Now there is something called SKU Central, which I'm sure you guys know about, and that gives you a lot of information about a particular SKU. But what if you want to compare multiple SKUs, let's say in a collection, and see how they perform versus each other? So for example, if you have like very similar products that you've launched all at once, or let's say you have variations and you want to see their performance together on the same kind of timeline, well, this is how you do it. You basically download your business report by SKU, convert it into time series, the way I showed you, like with the help of BigQuery, stitch it up. That way you get all that information and all those data points on a timeline, and then you can do lookups. The lookups can be simply the SKU name, and just say if SKU name contains some tag that you've put in your SKU name, like maybe BK or whatever. Use that to kind of just show your SKU performance for a select number of SKUs that are of interest to you. Another example is unit session percentage by selected SKUs over time. You have all this data, guys. All of you have this data. It's just a matter of visualizing it this way and also stitching it all together. So unit session percentage by, let's say, a selection of 5 SKUs. And I see, oh my goodness, look at this guy. This guy's unit session percentage really skyrocketed in March, whereas the others remain more or less flat. So this sort of visual confirmation of things that are happening silently in the background becomes really interesting and important. Here's another one, buy box by selected SKUs over time. Again, you have this information. All you need to do is stitch it together and you get this kind of view. I can see here that buy box for this SKU went all the way down and then recovered. The others remain more or less stable. So in order to do that last bit, which is analyzing the performance by SKU, what my workflow was basically get a VA to download the detail page by child monthly view and append a date column because it doesn't come with a date column, then upload it through Google Sheets and then analyzed it in Looker Studio. So we're towards the end of this quick talk, but basically, if you want to implement something like this, you have 2 choices or 2 paths. Number one, you could do it in-house yourself, or you could look for the perfect software outside somewhere. So the pros and cons here are with in-house, it's obviously going to be cheaper. It's going to be faster and better, I think. It's also highly customizable because you just get what you need, right, for your analysis. And it definitely requires a data analytics mindset. Without that, none of this is possible, right? On the other hand, if you go for an external software, it's likely to be super expensive. And it's going to have more bells and whistles and more features than you'll ever need, right? It's also likely to be quite inflexible, although most softwares make the effort to think through all the potential use cases or situations that you might need that software for. It's never going to be the same as your own mind because you know what you want, right? You know what data you want out of your data. And here as well, you'll still need an analytical mindset. Even if you use some external software, you'll still need to know how to ask the right questions. Right, so that's basically kind of the difference between those two. Now, what kind of skills would you need to set up your own data ecosystem? You will need to be able to transform data using Google Sheets, Looker Studio, BigQuery. I'm sticking to the Google ecosystem because it's cheaper and easily accessible. All of us have access to Google Sheets, so now it's just a matter of extending it to these two. It's fairly inexpensive as well. You probably can get away with like a free BigQuery account for a long time before you hit certain data usage limits, and then you'll start paying, but that's also not a lot. You will need the skill of data scrubbing. So you will need some person, some guy or gal who knows how to clean up data, prepare it for the next stage of stitching together. You need someone who's good at data visualization, who knows exactly what views they need, not just the simple obvious ones, but the not so obvious ones, right? You need someone who can do a good job with storytelling, storyboarding, who can build that story together and say, oh, look, this is what happened with our data. And then this is advanced. These last two steps are advanced, but you might need someone with regular expressions understanding, which is regex is really powerful for pattern matching within your data. So if you want to combine something with something else, and it needs to happen based on certain filters, which contain certain text patterns, then you should be able to create like a regex, which does all of this like that very easily. And then you might also need someone with SQL understanding. So such structured query language is something that even Amazon is, encouraging people to learn because AMC data, which is Amazon Marketing Cloud, which gives you a lot of data, across channel as well as like across Amazon's own kind of platforms, etc. That requires SQL. Without that, you essentially are dependent on their templates and their prompts to use and kind of analyze your data, but it's not going to be the kind that you probably want. You want more granular data, right? So again, that's an advanced skill. If you have it, great. If you don't, then maybe either you could get someone on your team to start learning it or get help from outside. Okay, so I guess I am going to wrap up here, but I can just quickly share PPC Ninja data services that we could help you a little bit. So the idea here is that we could help you with setting up like keyword rank tracking in a time series format, which goes straight to BigQuery, which I don't believe there's any other software that does that. There's also no system that does that. You can own your own BigQuery. If you set up your BigQuery instance, we can point our data in your direction so that you can start collecting that data, and it's yours. After, even if you break ties with us, that data is still yours. You own the data, right? Add data time series. This is something we're already doing. PPC Ninja already exports time series, daily time series data. And we're actually currently sending it to Google Sheets, but I think we're going to switch to BigQuery because it can handle more volume. Organic data to BigQuery, we can help you with, there's a couple of partners that we have who can pipe you the organic data, whichever report you want, you can think of. All of that can start streaming into your BigQuery. Search query data monthly to BigQuery. This is something that, is a labor-intensive task because, like I said earlier, there is no API for it. But we can help you out. We have a system in place where a VA does this, and so if you want to outsource this part to us, again, this might be something we could help you with, provided we have the capacity. And then the best thing about this all is that you own the data. You own the BigQuery. Everything goes to you. If you want us to analyze it for any reason or build your Looker Studio reports, etc., we just get permission to your BigQuery, and then we're off to the races. Yeah, I think I already explained this. From PPC Ninja, we're directly piping data into into Google Sheets, which now will turn into BigQuery, and then this is Looker Studio. Okay, I guess this is my last slide. If anybody's interested in if anybody's interested in a free audit of their data with recommendations, we will be picking 5 people from this audience to do it for free, and you can take a screenshot of this if you want.
So congratulations for those of you who actually stayed to the end, because Ritu, I know she's going to provide some tremendous value. Is there a cheat sheet or a white paper or something out there that you can make available for folks, Ritu, where they can easily digest all this? Because this was like the proverbial drink from a fire hose. You're just so smart, and sometimes you just don't realize that.
Well, the thing is that we don't have a white paper or anything. We're just doing it for ourselves. And, if you're interested in it, feel free to reach out and we can have a conversation. Now, obviously, you don't really need a data ecosystem when you're just starting out, or let's say you just have like under 50 ASINs or something like that. You might be able to cruise along for a while. But once you start hitting scale and once you start needing that data for making important decisions, that's when this becomes, absolutely necessary. Like you can't do without some sort of system that combines data from different sources.
I love it. So Nick has a question. Is PPC Ninja able to help set this up for a brand selling across multiple Amazon accounts?
Yeah, so the visualization part of it, which happens through a Looker Studio, is no problem. Like you can actually combine data from multiple sources, including multiple markets, and just join it. There's something called Looker blended data. So it's fairly easy to do. You can do it yourself as well. But if you want us to help you out, we might be able to. Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So
Yeah.
Yossi says, at the bottom line, how much do all these diagrams and analysis really help increase profits?
Right. Yeah. So like I said, like if you have like an account with less than 50 ASINs, I don't think you should bother with this stuff. It might be too much. It might be an overkill. But if you're planning for scale and you will get there eventually, you might as well, start to tune into some of these ideas so that you can use them when you're ready. But I would say for someone who is at scale, which basically means you have more than 50 ASINs, you have multiple markets, etc. I guess you cannot avoid this kind of system where you're collating data from different sources. Either some software of yours is doing it for you perfectly, or half the way or whatever. Or you do it yourself. Like I said, there's always trade-offs, whether you do it yourself or you use some sort of software. Software can also be expensive. So this is just an alternative for people who want more control and they want to do it more affordably. Yeah. Okay,
fair enough. So 2 more questions. Are you willing to share the slide deck, Ritu?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I can make that.
Provide a link to that. And please put your QR code back on there because
yeah.
There's still 50 people live here, so getting 5 audits is not going to take too long. But I want to give them an opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Okay, just give me a second. I'm going to pull it back.
You always bring value. I love talking to you.
Oh, thank you. I was too quick to close it before I could.
Chad says, thank you. Yossi says, thank you. Wow, this is great information. Yep.
Thank you so much, guys. Okay, here it is.
Loving it. Okay, there we go. Last chance, guys. Scan the QR code. Just point your camera at this thing, and it should take you to Ritu's page where you can enter to win a free audit, right? 5 free audits from the audience here at our masterclass.
Yes.
Great. Can't do it for everyone, so don't wait. Don't just put this off until tomorrow. Go ahead and scan the QR code here now. Believe me, you're in good hands here with this audit. I would do the highly recommend this. There's not enough to go around, so don't be that person that waits till yesterday or tomorrow. Sorry. Oscar says, great value. Thanks.
Thank you, Oscar.
Sweet. Okay. Where can we download the slides, or if you just want to drop those to me later, I'll put it. Yes. I'll add it to the video.
I will do that. Yeah, I will send it to you later.
All right.
Sean. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ritu. I know I'll see you at some events coming up.
Yes.
Probably at Accelerate, right?
Yes, at Accelerate. Yeah, I'll be speaking at Accelerate. Yeah, look forward to seeing you.
All right,
seeing you there.
So I'll see you there.
Definitely. Awesome.
All right. Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thank you, guys. Watch your email
everyone.
For next month's masterclass. We're going to bring more and more of these amazing, highly industrious, highly intelligent, effective people from our industry, bringing super valuable, but more importantly, actionable content that you can apply in your business right away. So take what you learned today, implement it, absorbing the content, digesting it is not going to get you results. Action is what's going to get you results. So take action on what you learned today and watch your email. Hope to see you in next month's masterclass. And Seth and I will be reaching out as soon as we have our lineup. I think we already have 4 or 5 speakers for next month. So we'll be letting you know who those are in the coming weeks. So you're welcome, Oscar. Definitely welcome, Nimra. Everyone, all the great comments in the box. Appreciate you. Love hanging out with you. God bless you all. And I will see you in 30 days or less. Take care.